now. But
I don't have no anonymity. Anybody worried about me? So
dude, listen,
I got sober out loud, so
I ain't too fucking worried about people knowing. You know how many times walking through an airport, people go, "Hey, Bill, I'm Bill's. How's Bill? How's Bill?" And, you know, that's the cool thing.
Which kind of, it doesn't piss me off, but I've always favored Dr. Bob.
Me, you, me both.
So
I'm a Dr. Bob guy.
But always, you friend of Bill W's? I like Dr. Bob though.
But I've had people ask me if it's a
I've had like a
devil worshiping, and they've asked me, and I'm like, well, if you read the whole thing, there's not a lot of devil there. So it's opened up a lot of line of communication when people see my arm. I'm in the airport probably 6-7 times a month, right?
Oh,
so
wow.
I fly. In fact, I'm leaving at 2:30 in the morning to get Sac Airport to get on a flight to take off. So yeah, it's I'm always on a plane. So that's one of the main reasons why I wanted this, is just open up. You know, it's everything on this arm is part of my story, right? I mean, I could tell my story by what's on my arm, and I have before. I've literally had, all the way up. So
where did you say we met him and his wife?
I spoke
Harvest Hall.
At Harvest Hall. I spoke.
Birthday speaker.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember the Serenity.
It's usually him reminding me when we know people. And there we go. Look at that turn. See?
Right. Yeah. I like I said, if anybody ever, I mean, I can't hide it. I don't want to hide it. Right. I mean, it's.
Hey, what should I put right here? Son of a gun. Look at that. Let's go. Come on.
Sure,
I'm wasting time.
You're wasting time. Pray us in, fool.
No, it's Priscilla's going to pray for us.
No, don't put me on that spot, Rob.
No. Because you said that.
Because you're going to make my anxiety go through the roof. And we don't need that right now.
This God granted Serenity.
We've had people start it that way.
Yeah. God.
Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Let's go to work.
Hey, you should play the old. Stop. Play the old one.
I don't have it queued up.
Oh,
you sit on the toilet, don't you? Use that as your meditation.
Not my wife, not your wife, nor anybody listening to this podcast has eaten a shit sandwich we didn't have a hand in making.
Is that what you wanted?
That's it.
I knew that's what you wanted.
That's the way it used to come on.
But it had music over the top of it.
It had music over it.
It had music over the top of it.
We had Doug on one time, and Doug's like, man, I just can't find any time to meditate. And Leg goes, well, fuck, you sit on the toilet, don't you?
Yeah.
There you go.
Because that's your meditation.
I didn't see a problem with that whatsoever.
No, it's a great time. I mean, but you're there.
You sit on it.
Yeah.
Might as well. Anyways, hi, welcome back. We got Dustin and Priscilla back. We didn't get to speak to you a whole lot. You chimed in a little bit here and there on Dustin's story, but you two are engaged, and you guys were in Las Vegas over the weekend at was that a conference, or do they call that a retreat? I think when I looked at it online, because
it's a retreat.
Yeah, Rob was telling me about it, and he was telling me that you guys went to a conference. So I wanted to see what it looked like, right? And he says, and I looked at it and it said a retreat. I don't know what the frickin' difference between a retreat and a conference is, but
State line retreat.
Yeah.
It says what is it?
The Woodstock of AA.
Woodstock of AA. Why do they call it that? I mean,
I just heard someone say, and it stuck. Sometimes things stick, and they don't have really much importance, and so I don't know.
I thought maybe that was a California sober thing.
Supposedly, it's supposed to be the best intellect or the best speakers that can get across the steps and intellectually, in their shares.
Okay.
And get across each principle.
Okay.
So that's what they call it, the Woodstock of AA.
How did it go? I mean, I think we talked a little bit about it, but I think we talked a little bit about it off of air, but what do you think?
From what I did get to experience, I was sick most of the time.
That's right.
And
that's right.
What I did experience, there was a lot of people. I was overwhelmed with the amount of sobriety in the room. The people that I did get to hear speak was from England and Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Great speakers, told their story well. I connected with one of the guys from Tennessee just because whenever there's humor involved, you get me.
I'm
sure. I'm like a cat. Like my attention's not very hard to get, as long as you.
Right.
So he was pretty, interesting. We ended up sitting next to a couple of guys, some older guys, from Peoria, Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like they travel doing a lot of these conventions and retreats and stuff like that. So this is what they do. I assume they're retired.
16 years, he said.
Yeah.
He's been to every one.
Yeah. So, so we sat next to some recovery, and It was nice. It just like I said, I was sick, but the way I was telling you guys earlier, I think God does what He does the way He
Right.
does.
Shut you down.
Because had I
Shut you
got
down.
sick down here, I would have been running. I would have been going wedding planning, just the fellowship, the kids, the anything. I needed to slow down.
Got you a moment.
Yep, got
Got you a
me.
moment.
He's like, I got you right here. You're gonna and
Hotel room. You don't have to clean it. You don't have to do anything.
nope,
Keep your
nothing.
ass right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was nice.
and he was a great like you know, one of the things I think of him, you know, he has the heart of a servant, and he was maintaining his what we came there for, but he was taking care of me, and so and sometimes you and we need and we talked about before we left, you know, sometimes we might need a little recharge and
Oh, yeah.
stop everything real quick and reconnect because everything's been so chaotic
Right.
lately.
Because you guys are, maybe I've talked on this episode, you're getting married in February,
Yep,
which
February.
is right around the corner.
Yep.
Right around the
Right.
corner. Yeah. So anyhow, so I am Priscilla and I'm an alcoholic and my sobriety
Hi,
date
Priscilla.
hi is
You guys missed it. Damn it.
is September 12th, 21. Relapse is a part of my story. I've been in the rooms around the rooms about going on about 6 years. My story started, you know, when I was younger. I had bits and pieces of wholesome family, and I got bits and I always think it's like a movie trailer. Like you got to see little clips of something, and I got that. And growing up, I was born to a teen mom. She was a teen mom. I believe if I'm right, and I'll have to correct this, but I think my grandma was a young mom too. So my mom was a teen mom. My dad was a little older. They found out they were pregnant with me. My dad did the right thing, went to work for City of Mesa Sanitation. He had that job up until the day that he had passed away. And
Which in Modesto?
in Arizona.
Okay.
I'm
okay.
from Arizona.
Okay.
And early on, my mom was I don't know if anybody knows the movie, but this is one of my favorite movies, and it might be for toxic reasons, but it's Urban Cowboy. My
Uh-huh.
mom reminds me of Sissy.
Mm-hmm.
And she was always pretty. She's that country girl, you know, in and out of bars. And from what I don't remember a lot of my young childhood. But what I do remember is my mom not having a lot of stability and in and out of bars. I hung out in bars. Like that was what you do. Doesn't that you don't
It's
everybody
normal.
get to go hang up on
That
the
was my
bars and eat out the
childhood.
cherries, you
Right.
know, and get the free they tell me the button to hit on the arcade games to play the games because I gotta babysit myself, you
Normal.
know, come on now. And one of my mom's bars was Harmilio's. And now the way I tell my childhood, my mom tells it a lot different. She's not identified as one of us, but alcohol is still very heavy in her life today. And she sees things way different than I do. I think a lot of delusion. Um,
How's your
and
relationship with her? That being said.
that it's growing.
Okay.
And
Okay.
and we'll get to that, but early on I had my grandparents on my dad's side and very religious Catholic upbringing. Great people, came from New Mexico. Had my grandparents had 5 kids. My dad, one of them. And my dad and my mom were neighborhood, you know, friends. They knew each other. And so that family was all intermingled. And that's kind of important later on my story in a little bit because my dad's family, my mom's family, and some other family were all kind of intermingled. I always seen my grandpa drink, but never like intoxicated, never like a belligerent, never like that. But I always seen beers in his hand. I remember that. Nobody was ever obsessively drinking, but then there was my mom. But again, it was so romanticized where it was fun. There's country
Right.
music. There was fun and I had no rules. But I went with my dad's side of the family because they broke up really early on. There was never nothing stable. When I was with my dad's side of the family, we had rules, church and bedtimes and cleanliness. And that's important because when I was with my mom, there was a time in her life when we kind of deep dive where we were living in apartments that are infested with bugs and I had to get my clean clothes to go to school the next day out of a corner pile. And I was eating dinner off of the ice cream truck and no stability. And then I'd go to my dad's and it was different. It was like two different worlds. And to me, now that I'm older, I'm like, how did you guys not see that I was living two different lives? So dysfunctional. I had a very back and forth. I probably went to 5, 6 elementaries, went to 3 junior highs, and 3 to 4 high schools. So that shows my stability that I had, lack of not having it. And then when I was probably around 10, 11-ish, my dad had finally realized what was going on or woke up. I don't know what happened. Cause I never got to have this conversation with him. But he ended up, one second, excuse me.
Mhm.
Excuse me. He ended up I haven't done this much talking all weekend.
It's fine.
1 second.
You're
Wait.
fine.
Make sure when you drink on the microphone. Larry loves it when I'll put that stuff right here and take
Mhm.
a drink and just look at him.
Everybody needs a friend like this prick. I'm telling you, it's horrible.
Like I say, I don't get that version.
Well, you're getting a full.
Hey,
You're getting it all right
That's
now.
just his opinion. He's a
Bullshit!
of
I've
course.
got about 27 men inside of a room that have the same opinion.
of me.
Little midget.
Oh shit! No, they don't.
Okay. Maybe
So
they don't.
10, 11, around that time frame, I don't know the time frame exactly. My dad had gone to court. He was then married to my stepmom, and she had an older daughter, a few months older than me, and and then they ended up having my sister, which is a few years younger than me. And they went to court and fought for me and got custody. And my dad got custody. I started living with my stepmom, my dad, and my sister's stability. I didn't know what that was. And we had bedtimes and we had
At your
clean
dad's.
clothes. Like,
Right.
who are you guys? You know? And I always felt foreign. I didn't feel normal.
At what age did you start coming into that, though? I mean,
The whole time.
So for the longest time, I never felt abnormal until then. I was like, this is not right. Like something's
Right.
not right.
Well,
Like
because
when
you're
am I gonna
What is it? What is that shoe gonna drop? When am I going back?
when
to
am
that?
I gonna be torn again? When am I gonna go back and get to have that fun again, hanging out bars and get, hang out they call it the park and swap there. We have a flea market here,
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of like when's it gonna happen? And it never happened. And then finally one day I remember kind of how it went. There was a phone call that happened, and I remember my dad having a conversation with my stepmom. Long story short, my mom was gonna go visit my aunt over here in California. And my mom wanted to take me on a little trip before school started. That's what he told her. I was like, all right, here we go. We're off and rolling. Well, long story short, my mom kidnapped me. She says, I'm going to take her for a few days and bring her right back. He was going to have a plane ticket, all that stuff. There was police involved. There was all kinds of stuff involved. And I was just told, don't ever answer any phone calls. If anybody, I didn't realize I was kidnapped. And I was like, and I didn't know for a long time people were looking for me. I didn't know that.
how old were you?
This point, I was 10 going on 11.
Okay. All right.
And then next thing I know, there's a lot of things going on, and I was like,
Where in California were you?
Salida.
Okay.
Salida, California. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Like running, I kind of knew something was wrong, but then things were getting a little bit shaky, and like there was no stability, and we were living at my aunt's and the father of her kids because they never married. It was my cousin's dad's, and we were all living in a house. My mom was there. Shit went awry real quick. Oh, wait, yeah, we can cuss, yeah.
Yeah.
So stuff went awry real quick,
Unfiltered.
and my mom bounced, and I was like, I don't want to stay here with these fools. Like, what are this house is crowded. It's nothing but guys. But growing up, I was really close to my dad, to my grandpa, to my uncles. Like, I always had really close relationship with males in my life. Like, I had really good relationships. And then in this house, I was like, this is not what I want. And my mom went to go off. What now I found out years later was she went to go live with her much older living boyfriend that was also never claimed, but raging alcohol problem. It was disgusting. And he and she went off and left me. I was like, you kidnapped me. And I found out this years later. I'm like, you kidnapped me and then you left me. And then what the hell? Priorities. So I was there, and around 12 years old, the father of my cousins, were all in the garage one day, and he had Goldschlagers. Goldschlagers, I think that's how you
Mhm.
say it. flaming Dr. Peppers.
Yeah.
And he gave them to us. I was like, okay.
This ain't so bad now.
Yeah. So, all right, it's not too
Black
bad.
licorice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Terrible.
And so, I was like, so this is what we're doing, huh? That's what happened. And at the same time, my cousin, one of my cousins, he's a few months older than me, like 6 months older than me, getting tattoos. It's covered now, but it was underneath here, giving tattoos in the garage. And I'm like,
And you're like 12 now?
12 years old.
Yeah, that's
12 years old. And my aunt knows about it. Her baby dad, I call him baby daddy because he's never the husband. And that guy, which is my cousin's dad, again, they all ran in the same hood in Mesa, like in the Ron area. And that guy was a really close friend of my dad. And that's kind of important coming up. And letting us do tattoos, and we had no curfew. Like, we came and did whatever we want. There was no rules. There was no nothing.
How many cousins?
There was, and living in the house, there was David, Henry, Ricky. So there was
got a posse.
4. There was 4 of them. One of them I thought was my brother for the longest time, which it was so ass backwards. And he, anyhow, so there was 4 all together at the time. And
Like a brother.
he totally like a brother. And I thought he was my brother. But anyhow, we're all in the same household, and again, we did what we wanted. Like, there was one story that was so significant that me and one of my cousins, Ricky, and he won't mind his name, but we got drunk, and back then we would take a bunch of mini thins and see how high we can get drunk. And I remember my aunt made
Crosstalk.
my aunt had made beef stroganoff hamburger helper. And I remember I was eating it, and that was a good meal for us because, money was tight. And I got sick. And then my aunt goes, "What's wrong with her?" And he goes, "Oh, we just took some mini." So again, she was telling me what happened, but there's no repercussion.
Wow.
Only she was mad is that I got sick, and I better clean it up. So there was no repercussions. There's nothing ever. I lived across the street. I was always late. Like, the school, literally, there's the house, road, the backyard to the school, like Slida Middle School. That's now a Slida Elementary, but and I was late all the time. The school knew, like, we were like a family problem. Like, we were just drama. Like,
you were that family.
That family,
Yeah.
And
did you know at that time you were that family?
Oh no, not at
It
all.
was normal.
Yeah.
But then when I started going to other friends' houses, and I caught one of my friends, I won't say her name because I hope she finds the rooms one day. But her mom, I was in her house, and she's like, "I don't want you hanging out with that girl," and I heard it. I'm like, "Oh, I'm that," And that was one of the girls I always envied and looked up to because, like, they had snacks and, like, they had after school routines and they had things that I didn't have.
I had a friend like that.
Like,
yeah.
Like, we didn't have those things. Like, now when I was in Arizona, like, I had the nicer things, like when I was with my dad and them, but always my mom's, we were slumming it. Like, and I'm like, oh, So anyhow, so that's how that happened. And during this time frame, the father of my aunt's kids, he molested me. And that was one of my dad's closest friends.
Ouch.
One of his closest friends. And I remember at that point, I was like, I need to go home. I need my dad to find me. Like, how do I fix this? And long story short, things just were happening. And I was off and running, and I was doing anything and everything I could, just to stay away from home because I didn't want to be there, And I had a boyfriend at the time, and because, again, we could do what we want. And I remember I was like, I got to get help. And so I told my boyfriend what had happened, and we went to his mom and told her what would happen. And so she called my aunt over, and we had said, "Hey, this is what happened." She didn't believe me. She goes, bull crap. She left me there, went home. I guess she called my mom, got my mom involved. Long story short, I ended up moving back to my mom, and my mom, that didn't fit her schedule and her lifestyle because she was doing whatever the hell they were doing over there. I was tried living with them for a while over there off Clearville Road, for a while. And these are 2 drinkers that I used to think I called them functioning alcoholics because they both worked in the union too. And they worked, for companies about us. They're both retired now, so it doesn't matter. But they work for our same line of work too that we do. Him for Granite, and then her for Granite Tiger, all those companies. And to throw a teenager in the mix, I was messing up that lifestyle. So at the time, so anyhow, go a little bit back. There was one little break where my dad had separated from my stepmom, and he was staying at my grandparents' house in Prescott Valley, and I wanted to tell him what happened so bad. I wanted to tell him, and I was like, I can't, because I felt
Why
like it
did
was
you
my
think you
fault.
couldn't?
I
You
felt
felt
like
like
it
it
was
was
my
your
fault.
fault.
I felt like I was dirty. Like I felt it was my fault, and
Shame.
Sucks.
and then it was his friend. You know, I'm like, how do I do? I don't want to hurt my dad's feelings. Like,
Question: did he touch his own? He didn't have any daughters, did he?
he did not. But years later, I found out when I was an adult, he touched his own nieces.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't a time
No,
offender.
it usually isn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so and I wanted to say something, I didn't. I ended up coming back, and I had a whole plan, and I was gonna tell him something, and like me and my dad. And so my mom did a lot of alienation with me, where she where there was no communication, there was no nothing. But she was collecting that child support, even though he had a court order. A lot of alienation. I was living
hold on a second.
Yeah.
She was collecting child support even though she basically kidnapped you?
My dad, I don't know, but I like to say he was very codependent enabler,
Okay,
because he
that
was
makes a lot of
sending
sense.
money
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
I'm
that
his
makes
daughter. And I can only imagine the hell that created for him and his
Oh.
wife at the time. But
Wow.
she would hide it. Well, me and my dad were sneaking phone calls
Mm.
and things like that. And again, I was disrupting what was going on there in that house with her and her boyfriend on Clarabelle Road, and she got me an apartment over there across from Oak Valley Hospital at this apartments at the corner. She was letting me live there by myself.
How old?
This time I was 16 years old. And
Dude, that'd have been heaven.
Hardy.
so that's how it started, and it was off and rolling. It was doing good.
Were you even going to school?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I was taking the Oakdale Start bus to McHenry, or Oakdale Start bus, and then I would transfer to the Modesto bus, and then I would walk down, what's the road by Hobby Lobby going down to Davis to Rumble, and I would walk the rest of the way. And I would
Could've
do that
just
all the
went to
time.
Oakdale.
Could have, but I would need a parent to sign me
Oh,
up, and
okay.
that would take some effort,
Gotcha.
and that wasn't going to happen.
All
Okay.
our friends are still from Salida.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I did try going to Salida Middle School, and that was just a big to Oakdale Junior High. That just didn't work out too long. And then we went back to Salida Middle School again because my mom there was a little bit lots where I went back and forth. But so that was going on through high school. And yeah, I was running amok. I was trying to do good. I was trying to do better. And back in 8th grade, I don't know what happened. I was trying to do better, and I wanted to do better because, again, I was, having a little bit of, epiphanies. I don't know what it was, but I was trying to do good, and I got rewarded. Got an award, the most improved, because I was doing good and I was showing up to school. And when I used this, I was actually smart.
Ooh.
And my dad was so proud of that. And that's one of my last
I bet
pictures.
he was.
I was one of the last pictures I have of my dad. My dad and my grandparents, they came to my 8th grade graduation, and he was so proud of that award that I got, and that was one of the highlight my moments with my dad and my grandparents coming to California and stuff like that. And they went back, and
Weren't you playing volleyball for Davis?
I was playing volleyball for Salida Middle School, and then I went into Davis, and I was playing volleyball, and then things just weren't. I had no stability to help me. Like I didn't
She's younger
have
than you.
by a year.
By years. Did you guys go to Davis at the same time?
We did.
We did, and we did it, and this is where it gets a little choppy. I didn't have that foundation, so when I went in, I made the Davis high school volleyball team, and I was doing great. Everything was good. At first, I was going to quit because a lot of my friends, Salida Middle School, didn't make it, and I was like, my anxiety didn't want to let me do it by myself. I did it. It was doing good, but trying to get to meet, trying to do this, because, you travel, you need parents involved, and I didn't have that. So I was like, whatever. So let's start drinking. Let's start smoking weed. Let's start ditching, going to the park next to Davis Park. Let's start doing all these different things. And well, before, if you rewind just a little bit, I was back in touch with my dad, and I was trying to make an exit plan to go back to Arizona without my mom knowing. And he was going to come out here, and 10 days before he came out here, he ended up dying.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that part of the story.
And so I was like, damn.
You were young.
I was like, where's my break?
Now,
Yeah. That
you
one
and I have
hurts.
talked about this before.
Mhm.
What did you think? And you said that God just wasn't.
God just wasn't there for me. Like,
Yeah.
there's a God, but because something went wrong with me or I'm just not what God wants to take care of.
That's
Like,
what you
God
felt.
doesn't
Yeah.
love me. Because it's so, why did I, and at this time I didn't have this thinking. Later in life I did. I'm like, why did I experience so much bullshit if God really
Pain.
loved me?
There was a lot of pain there.
Yeah. No stability, but the glimpse of it. Like, it's like I almost had like someone dangling over my head, and
If only I'd have stayed with Dad.
Well,
yeah.
but then she was getting ready to come back into stupidity, recognizing that she's
right.
going the wrong way.
He didn't choose to go.
Well, no, but Dad,
Right.
I'm going back with Dad, and
Right.
then all of a sudden, Dad dies.
Off and running. And
Especially now after.
oh yeah. I was and again I had a boyfriend from junior high going to high school that, God bless his heart, how he stayed with me, and he probably needs therapy after me, because even in junior high and high school I was a basket case, and doing everything I could to get attention, just shaving the back of my head and hanging out there around crowds and starting to dress a little more promiscuous, and it was just crazy. And then going to Davis from a little small sheltered place of Oakdale and Salida, that's like a bomb. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know how I fit in here, and there's people like him over there. So it's like, hey. So it was a rougher crowd. And
Dustin had the good drugs though.
yeah.
Vodka bottle walking
Yeah.
out.
So and at that time, and then even a little bit in junior high, going into high school, there was a lot of hanging out in the orchards and hanging out in abandoned houses and things. I'm like, I am so thankful. And that's why I remember God was there, because he got me out of those things. He got me home. And there were some times, like today, to this day, I can't eat Hot Pockets because I remember I ate those when I was drinking some boons and I vomited that, and I just can't look at those the same anymore. And this is all between junior high
It was
and
the
high
Boone's
school.
fault.
It was
not
the boons, not the boons in the Hot Pocket. Priscilla's overconsumption. Never.
That's a good
But
one.
yeah.
Well,
Cheap
Wasn't
wine.
able.
who created
Yeah.
Boone's Farm?
Paul's no, it's Dawson's.
Dawson's
Yeah.
dad.
Dawson's
Well,
dad
Dawson-
was on
Dawson,
this.
the primary
Yeah,
purpose.
he invented that.
His
Oh.
dad created with Boone's Farm.
Yeah.
Damn it. But yeah, and then 40s, because 40s was cool, you gotta be the cool one. And man, but and then freshman, sophomore year, then going to the junior year, I was like, it's working for me, selling my mom's bank cards, doing what I gotta do, because I didn't have no money, and so I'm gonna steal. And then about my junior year, I was getting a little tired. I was like, I'm tired already. And by this time I got my
Yeah.
mom to move me to Modesto. And this is where I thought brother, but he's my cousin. And we got an apartment right there off of Standerford and Road.
Prescott.
There you go. Um,
Close to you.
Right by the recruiter station.
yeah. And so we were living there, Carmel Woods at the time. I don't know if I still call it the same thing, but we were living there.
Oh, that's Carl.
That was making me have better access. So then
Access to what?
things, because I was taking
Whatever
the bus
she wanted.
everywhere. I was taking the bus
Whatever she wanted.
everywhere. And so I got me a job at McDonald's because I was going to be a functioning adult. I didn't need to rely on my mom and da-da-da. That worked out for a little bit. And then there was this little booth in the mall that had, they made keychains, like engraved ones and license plate frames. And she eyed me from McDonald's. Has she seen the potential? And so I went. I was like, don't you know who I am? So I moved on up, and that worked better with my schedule because I wanted to start partying again, because I had money again, because I wasn't having to, sneak it around and go to parties, all this other stuff. So it worked out. And that worked out for a good long time. And that high school boyfriend that I had, I ended up cheating on him, and I got pregnant with my first son. This was going into senior year. And then so got pregnant with my son. And I was like, well, and I remember I didn't have much of a compass of how to be a mom or how to be an adult or what to do.
You had nobody to look up to for that.
No. I had my grandma Laura, which is my dad's side, but glimpses of it. I don't know how it all happened. And so I was like, I had a great plan. Well, I'm pregnant now. So let's do the opposite of everything she did. We'll do that, the opposite. And that worked for a very long time. So one of those things is I'm not going to drink. So I stayed sober throughout the whole pregnancy. I got with a guy, he was 7 years older than me and I was 17. So you do the math there. This is my oldest son's dad.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. And
Look
so,
at the
and then,
brain on Rob.
he is not a claimed one of us, but he had to stop drinking heavy like us because he had medical issues that made him stop. But he has the same lot of stories as we did. As you can know, that romance lasted real long. And there was a quick engagement and there was a lot of and by this time, I was coming into being 18 and I came into an inheritance from my dad. Because my dad, when he had passed away, he had left me some money. And so here I am with a baby and apartment of my own and a large sum of money. Well, and then I was with him, with my son's dad, and we were off and running. And I was still wanting to drink. I was still wanting to party. He wasn't having any of that because, again, he can't. So it's not like he was doing the right thing. He just couldn't. So he went out the picture. And
Yeah, because he can't drink with you. You got to go.
he's gone. And
I need a partner.
yes. And so he had really great parents. And sometimes I always joke, and my son knows, I said, man, how did those two great people have him? Because he is an opposite of his parents. And now I get along really good with my son's dad. And they are great to me. They're beneficial to me because I'm self-centered and selfish. And what they did is they allowed me to work, even though I had inheritance. I was doing the right thing and I was going to work. And they would watch my son from Monday through Thursday, and they'd get him Friday. I'd drop him off Thursday night, and they'd have him all day Friday, and I'd pick him up again Sunday. Those were times I was drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was partying. I was picking up my son hungover. And I'm not even 21 yet, but it doesn't matter. I was off and running. And him and I got back together because whatever. We blew that money. He stole most of it. And then because he's such a great guy. And the rest of it, I blew. Shopping, because I have a shopping addiction. And then alcohol and partying. It was just off and running. It was gone. Inheritance, non-existent. And then ditched him again. And partying, having a good time. Still, at this time, I was 18. And partying, and then I mean heavy. And I'm not even just waiting till I guess when my son goes to bed at night, even when I have him in my care, I'm drinking at night and I'm partying and but I'm going to work, functioning alcoholic, because my mom taught me that. And it was just, it worked. It worked for a while. And then here comes Prince Charming. Normally these guys, when they meet you and you start vomiting, they're off and running like, oh, we're not trying to deal with this. Well, here's one that held my hair when I threw up.
Yes. What a gentleman.
That's a gentleman right there. This one, because
either a gentleman or horny. I don't know which one.
I think, yeah. So, and I think we're going to go with the second one when we get to this detail. When we get to this detail, it might answer for that. I was drunk and I didn't ask for aid. I didn't care. You have money, you drink with me, like you're fine. You fit the quote. You're fine.
Right. Yeah.
Standards weren't that high when you're drunk. And come out to be about a month or so later at a date. He's 14 years older than I was.
Perfect.
Yeah. I didn't see a problem with it. He definitely didn't see a problem with it.
Father figure?
Yeah, something like that. Then a little bit long down the line, after some partying, I ended up pregnant again.
With his?
So I have two baby daddies.
The hair holder.
The hair holder, the romantic one.
Yeah.
So 17 and 19. So I have both my kids, 17 and 19. And I was like, okay, we're going to do this again. We'll stop drinking. But this is the party guy. Like, so afterwards, we're going to still drink. And I tried for a while. I tried to balance it. I didn't realize how much of a drinker he was. I was like, this is kind of interfering with my drinking because I'm having to watch him.
Take care of him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding his hair.
Yeah. Well, and then he's not coming home. And then there's DUIs. And then there's abuse. And then there's no money. And then there's going through you get these drunk spots and just go dump all our groceries out. or just start damaging, just weird stuff. Like I was like, this guy's killing my buzz. So somebody had to
get rid of this guy.
Yeah, so somebody had to be the sober one, and that ended up being me. And now I look back, that was God, because had my kids have to experience two drunks like that, it doesn't mean that I was sober the whole duration, because I was with that in that relationship for 18 years.
Oh shit.
Yeah, took me a long time to learn to leave. But there was spouts where I would have chances to drink. I would have chances to drink, and when I drank, it was always excessively, not just to have a buzz. It was let me get that feeling that I'm trying to reach. And
check out. You wanted to check out.
Always.
Yeah.
And and then early on it was established we were a Hispanic family, and it came on really early that he was going to work and I was going to stay home. And I was okay with that, because I seen how my grandparents were. My grandfather worked and my grandma stayed home. I'm okay with that. And it was always that way. I had no access to the accounts, to the financial, there's a lot of control. But a little bit of me, now that I'm growing and healing, I thrived off of that, because I didn't have to think for myself, and I was provided for. I had a home, I had cars, I had everything that I needed. I had that stability that I was looking for. This is just the form that I had to come in. This is how my process thought. And everything was fine. Everything on the outside looked great. Like, my kids had the nice clothes. They were in sports. Because remember, I did everything opposite. And I made a goal, little goals. Like, my kids were going to have the same elementary, same middle school, same high school, because I want them to have what I didn't have, roots. And I wanted to give that to them. I was able to accomplish that. And I'm very thankful for that. And I'm glad that my kids both graduated high school. They both had the same, there's the kids, like the teachers that I had, they had, my kids have those childhood friends now. And I'm so blessed. And there was God in that. But then, nice clothes, sports with nice cars. On the outside, everything looked beautiful. It looked great. They didn't realize that on the inside I was dying. And there was one time that I thought, but I didn't know anything about AA. I was on the kitchen floor crying because I found out he had yet another affair. And there was another affair. And this was like a long, invested affair. Like, it wasn't just a fling. Like, he had a relationship.
It was a love.
I caught him. He was shit-faced drunk, and I caught him red-handed, and she didn't deny it. He didn't deny it. It was just, and it came up to one of those conversations where he's like, he told her, I'm not going to leave my wife. So what do you want to do? And she's like, well, I don't want to leave you. So they're happy with that. And I was like, oh, this is not going to happen. So I knew
they
really
call that a throuple now.
Yeah. So, I wasn't like, and he had gone to work, and, I was on the kitchen floor crying, and I called my aunt. She lived in we lived off of Dell and Snyder at that time in some townhouses. And she lived in the one across the street from me, like literally right across the street. And I called her and crying, and she was like, you're drunk. And I was like, yes. And she's like, you're drunk again. And she noticed I'm drunk, so I just hung up. And I was like, people know I'm drunk before,
wow.
Yeah. So that was one of my moments I had,
a little bit of a clarity.
Yeah. And I was like, and I didn't want her to tell my husband at the time. So I was like, better act right, better get my shit together. And
listen to the alcoholic.
Oh yeah.
Better act right, not be right.
Yeah. And then I was able to hide drinking alcohol that I like, because I like vodka mostly.
Taka.
Oh,
not yet.
Yeah. Well, I was higher class than that. Come on, Rob.
Absolute.
Yeah.
Grey Goose.
Yeah. And then and that should be early on, because so anyhow, so I would do the grocery shopping so I can sneak in the alcohol, so he wouldn't know. He would never know. And then so there was that, and then I dabbled and I drank.
No other drugs though, right? Just drink.
Yeah, I tried weed in high school, but it was never my get down. I hate smoke. I don't like smoke.
It sucks. Go fast or go home.
Fucking wrong.
Jack Daniels and some powder accelerants, and I'm good to go.
Even as a parent, though, I had 2 kids already in elementary, and the last time I had smoked weed, that's then, and I didn't know it until years later. I'm a slow person sometimes. My feet were stuck to the ground, And it wasn't until I got with him, he's like, "You were stoned, fool."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh," because I felt like I couldn't move my feet, and I don't like that. I don't like,
Oh,
yeah.
that was Steve that told you that.
Oh, Steve, okay. So I was like, "I'm stoned. You were stoned," and I was like, "Oh, I get it."
Steve at work.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Steve. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So
I didn't even know what stoned meant, and I was saying it.
yeah, and then so that was going on and on and on, and I thought I was just in a spiral. I'm like, but I have everything now God finally loved me because I had home. My kids had clean clothes. We had everything that I always wanted as a child. How can I be ungrateful? My kids made all the sacraments in Catholic school. Like they did everything we're supposed to do. Yes, he's an alcoholic, but this is the price you got to pay. It's like, come on, you just suck it up. And yeah, he's cheating, but nobody knows. So just you bear with it. Because if anybody knew, I would be embarrassed. Because how dare I be cheated on? And one day I had the thought, because we went to a comedy show. Long short, there's a lot of drinking. He had beat the shit out of me in the parking lot, and we came back, and I couldn't wait to get to his mom's house and show her, so she would help me and like give me some type of justice, And she just looked at me. She goes, "Mija, what did you do?"
Uh-huh.
I was like, "Oh, I'm in trouble.
Mhm.
Like I'm in deep."
Yeah.
And then the things started spinning. And shortly after that, I was like, I have to think of a plan. Because I was a stay-at-home mom. I had only high school education. What am I going to do? So I started building myself up, started getting little jobs at Macy's, at Target, I was babysitting. And when I babysit, it was for his cousin. I would stack some money away just slowly. And things were getting bad, like just so bad. And I finally got myself, I said, he was working for Numi in Fremont, and that shut down. And he got laid off for a while, and his drinking got a little bit worse because he didn't really have nothing to keep him idle anymore. And then he started going to school for some type of maintenance thing. And how dare I ever want an education? But I somehow convinced him, and something worked out. And again, that's God, where he let me go to school. So I went to school for medical assisting. That backfired. People gross me out. I don't like it. So I was a medical assistant. I did great. I worked for a gastroenterologist, and that was short-lived. And I was like, I got to start stacking my money. At the same time, and the whole time I left out that I've dealt with depression ever since I was in elementary. My first
I saw it.
mental health issue was in elementary when I lived in Prescott Valley. I left my first suicide note to my grandparents. And that's how I know mental health is real, because I never heard of it. And, I just knew what I felt. But I've always had anxiety, but the alcohol always kept it at bay. And from the first time I remember it ever calm was when I was in that garage. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I
that
feel good.
Right.
That felt good. I hated the way it tastes, but man, it felt good in my body.
The book talks about that ease and comfort.
Yeah.
That comes from the first drinks.
When you got severe anxiety,
But for me, it's when my body would say,
Mhm.
That's
then
that
I could drink or
anxiety.
act normally. Once I got that
Yeah.
feeling, but that took,
Yeah, and I've never felt okay since I was little because, like I said, I never had stability. But when I drank, I forgot. I didn't care. So where I was at that time, I didn't care. And then when I finally got that job, I went to school, and I did good. Dean's List, everything. I did amazing. I did great. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. And then that backfired, and I felt really ashamed. And
what do you mean backfired? How did it backfire?
because I didn't like people. I didn't like around their bodies.
Yeah, she didn't. Yeah.
So he was nagging at me and just bitching and all this stuff. And I was like, I can't deal with this. And I'm like, I'm a failure. So then the anxiety got worse. And that's when I noticed I got worse for the first time in a long time. And it was getting harder to hide the drinking because now my kids are older. They're in middle school and stuff. Were they in middle school? I think they're in middle school, going to high school. And then it was harder to hide it from them because they're older. They're more aware. And
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so I'm like, how am I going to deal with this? What am I going to do? And again, I'm trying to make a plan to leave this man. But I had to get financially secure by getting a car, by doing all these things without him knowing. And because he's off taking around these women and his own alcoholism, he kind of didn't know. So he made it kind of easy for me. And so one day I was walking around where I worked at the gastroenterologist, and American Medical Response was right there. And something said, I think they're hiring. I don't know how it came about, but somebody I knew said, "Hey, why don't you apply?" Because she was walking in the parking lot. So she's like, she asked me where I was working. I was like, "Yeah." Well, so she goes, "Why don't you apply?" I said, "Okay, sure. It's right by my house." It's like it worked out because I live right there in Salida, over on that side of over there in Salida. I applied. I got the job. It was great. And and another reason why the medical assistant job didn't work is because I had to be around men sometimes, and I was not allowed to really interact with men. And like
From your husband.
From your husband, the cheater.
so a little bit of
Outstanding.
an example. Like we're in a restaurant, and like say like I'm here and he's looking at me, and there's a man at this table. Oh, we're gonna switch spots because you can't be in eye contact with him. So it was that bad.
Insecure as hell. But
Yeah.
alcoholic.
And so I got that job at AMR. Everything's going good. My anxiety seems to be at bay. But it was hard to drink again because there's no drive time or nothing because I'm so close to home. So like everything's kind of crumbling in on me, you know? Like, I'm like,
Where am my
anxiety-
drinking time going?
yeah. So like there's no this. So like I'm having to hide it like I'm I'm still hiding at home because he had weird hours. It's just getting harder. And I don't realize this at the time, but I realize it now that I'm in recovery. It's like, God, I was really good at that. But
We are good.
that was my job. That was going to save me to leave him. And me and my boys were going to leave. And I got laid off. They went overseas. It's like, what am
Were
I
you
going to do?
dispatching for him?
No, I was working for the patient business services
Oh,
part of
gotcha,
it. So I
gotcha.
was handling all that. And so what am I going to do? Again, God let me down. He let me down. And because I had good work history at that point and I had connections, I got a good job at MedAmerica over there behind Home Depot for a medical billing company. I hated it. It was miserable. My drinking just like when I got off of work, it was so,
At least you
I
waited
hated
till
my
you got off
job.
of work.
I did because I was a functioning alcoholic. And so I hated that job, but it was a further drive time. So that helped. So that worked. And but I wasn't drunk enough where I thought I'd get a DUI. So that wasn't my benefit. I always thought things through.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Insanity.
hated that job. And I was like, I can't do this, but I'm like, I'm gonna stay here for a year, get it on my resume. And then the Waymaster for George Reed in Escalon, I happen to be good friends with his daughter because we all hang out in a circle. And we're all heavy influence drinkers. And they're not claimed to be us. But drinking, and that's another reason I was able to get away with it because I didn't have to hide it so much with them because everybody drank. And I didn't drink as much, so I wasn't an alcoholic.
Not as bad as that
You know?
motherfucker.
So, but when you have a large group of 15 plus people, 20 people, and we all hang out as couples and they all drink, you're not an alcoholic.
Party time.
You're just having a good
normal.
time. Social
It's
drinking.
normal.
So it was easy to manage. And
So you applied.
so he said, "Hey, I'm going to be retiring. Why don't you apply?" Sure, why not? I'll try that for a summer until I find something else. And I didn't get the job.
Son of a bitch.
I was like, God, I can't catch a break. And then I didn't take in consideration I have no, construction background. I have no Waymaster. But it's God's fault. It's not my fault that I didn't have all this experience. So they didn't call me. I was like, okay, whatever. So I'm going to stay in this miserable hellhole. And then Benson ended up calling me about a month later. Says, well, would you like to still come work with us as a floater? It was a lot of nights. It was a lot of...
Benson's dead. It's okay.
Yeah. It was no uncertainty. There was no stability. I was like, oh yeah, get someone the anxiety that's what I need in my life. And then it was nothing. And I didn't know at the time, but I knew it was a men, industry. It's like, this is going to go over well with the guy. Cause I hadn't left him yet. I was like, okay. And then, so I got the job, took it, hell broke loose in the home because how dare you work with men?
Slut.
Yes. And then, so that was That was every name in the book. But in a minute, I kind of wore that title in a minute, and I'll show. And you might know part of. I'm sure you know. We just don't discuss it. But so finally, I had enough money and enough whatever. I mean, I don't know what it is. I filed for that divorce. I
Atta
said,
girl.
you know what? I
remember.
said, screw you. Like, screw you. I filed for that divorce. We had a big enough house where he had his own room. We had a whole setup. And it was right when I was getting hired. And it was also a week before my son's high school graduation. And my oldest son. And we had a situation. And for that, the longest time, we were kind of living separately. We just never had nothing on paper. But I stuck that fork in the ground, and this is it. I'm leaving you.
I'm out.
Yeah. I'm either gonna get a divorce or he's gonna kill me. One of the two. But thankfully,
Either way, I'm out.
He was
Yeah.
living in a.
he was living in another room.
I didn't believe it at first. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Because we were doing that for a while. Like it was
A lot of people do that.
So he was down the hall for quite a while. And he was doing this on the, and I knew what he was doing. And me, I didn't care because it was just me, my kids, my money, my hustle, and then trying to drink.
Right.
So I had my own things. He had his own things. It was fine. And, but something told me when he was on my ass, I was like, I just gotta file. I gotta file. So I filed. And this was back in 2018. And, yeah, 2018. I'm bad with time frames. Anyhow, so
that's about right. Because,
so I started this job, and I was my drinking was already out of hand. Like it was bullshit. Like I was drinking I used to say never drink on weekdays because that's what alcoholics do.
that's what we do.
I was drinking on weekdays. Never drink when you're driving. I was doing all those.
Bullshit.
Yeah. So I was doing so many things that I broke my own rules. And, this night job. Yeah. this night job, I was all backwards, just crazy hours, making good money though. And I was just running around and in a whole new industry, anxiety is going crazy. And partying, I'm loving it. I'm a single independent woman, don't you know? And making my own
with
money.
my ex living in the same house, but I'm independent.
Oh yes. And it's just the way you got to think of things.
white picket fence.
Oh, we had a beautiful home. With custom home built from the ground up. It was beautiful. Nice cars, everything. But again, we were miserable. And
The night job was at my plant.
sure was.
Real Linda.
No, Clements. That was one of my night jobs. And then that was the night job. Because Mona Perkins and Jackson didn't have night positions. But I did end up going to Rio Linda down the road a little bit. But man, my drinking was going good. And but nobody knew.
Even better.
Nobody knew
That you
so
thought.
I thought.
Yeah. That you thought.
And somebody before you, because you hadn't really talked to me yet. Somebody there, and again, it's all men,
All right.
approached me, and I thought, because the first thing you do when you look at a man, there's a wedding ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
This guy wasn't wearing a wedding ring, and started a relationship. And he was, I don't know his story. I don't know him well enough to know. And that was a really tumultuous, like really toxic relationship that ended. But that my drinking was very fueled with that too. And then along that time, you came along, and he was talking some gibberish. I remember.
You mean Rob came along.
Rob came along, and he was talking
And
some
that's when
gibberish.
your life went to shit.
And it was just some gibberish about, and I can't remember because I think one of the times you talked to me, just my mindset wasn't well. And you're like, and it's something about how you sponsor, you sponsor people, and I'm just like, but you weren't inviting me, so I'm like, what is he trying to say? Like, what is his deal?
Planting the seed.
Planting the seed, and I didn't get it, and I didn't get this whole conversation with Rob until years later when I was with him. Because then that was my first introduction to AA, and I didn't realize it was my first introduction to AA.
And it came to you in the form of a midget.
It came to me in the form of Rob. And I was just like...
Well, because when I would come in, she was working the night job. When I would come in, I'd come in early to get with the night guys. Priscilla would regale me with this fucking relationship that she's in, and this, that's just, not, she's never said the person's name, but I knew exactly who she was talking about. Just listen, and I would drop some AA stuff and just, just listen.
Yep.
Just
never
listen.
judged.
No,
never.
On
his head, I don't know.
I ain't no better. Who am I to judge? But I was just listening and just waiting.
I can picture. I can just picture that in my head right now.
Yeah.
Rob,
So you were with this person. Sorry, Larry.
it's fine. No, you get in, man. Jump in.
You were with this person at the time.
Yeah.
That was.
You know
working
who it
for-
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that's one thing about this program has taught me, and I'm so glad that I can sit across from this table and speak openly because there's no secret and it's transparency.
Yeah.
So he knows about that. And I ended up being involved with the married man. And I didn't know it at first because I have divorce papers in the back of my car and all the whole spiel, I'm like, oh yeah. And then when I did know, for a minute, I'm like, let me see if I can win. Let me see if I can be the one. Like, cause I want to be the chosen one, I want to be the one that's chosen, And after a while, I was just like, that got very violent. It got very emotionally abusive. And then it was just toxic. And then the violence, I was like, that was it.
You just got out of that relationship.
I was like, I just got out of this and I'm seeing all in the beginning. So I'm going to just let this go. And it didn't end good. And I got out okay. It was okay. So that ended. And I was still off partying. I was still doing my thing, still having a good old time.
And were you still living with your ex-husband at this? Well, you guys were in the same.
Yes.
Okay.
He was in and out
Outstanding.
between his dad and that because the toxic is what I do. This is what we do.
And the 2019 Christmas party with you and Katrina.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good one.
Because I was still drinking. 19, Christmas party. And again, you don't drink at work. You could drink right after, right before. You don't drink at work because I had these rules. Bosses around. Rob's there. My other bosses are there. Everybody's around. I'm shit-faced. I am just shit-faced.
Showing your real side.
Oh, yeah.
She was feeling no pain.
Oh, feeling no pain. And that was one of the sickest nights, the most worst alcohol poisoning I have ever got in my life, where I was in the hotel bathroom and I had vomited, pissed myself, everything. And I say it because some women are like, that's embarrassing, but every bowel movement, like, everything came out. I did. It was me. Alcohol poisoning I don't know how I survived that night. And when I talked to a few people, they're like, so that was your bottom? Oh, no.
No, let's keep digging.
No.
Let's go.
So when I was driving home and I was sick, to edge it off, well, you drank again.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get right.
Hair of the
You
dog.
got to get right.
Yeah, that was not my bottom. And so kept drinking. And a little bit later, because that was in December, that party. And then about a month later, not even a whole month later, that's when that Facebook request comes in from a suggested friend, New Year's Eve.
Wow.
And I was like, I seen it. I just kind of let it sit there.
In walk Dustin.
Yeah.
And there comes Dustin.
She's a hot mess.
Ooh, hot mess. And
Dustin, at no point did you go, fuck this.
well,
There was a few
I
times.
covered it. I thought I covered it pretty well, but I guess he's seen it. But so he came in inbox. At first, it was like women get a lot of inbox, let them get a lot of attention.
I'm not on social media, so I have no idea.
Okay, so it's a hot mess, and I'm just like, I'll entertain it. Like, it looked innocent. I was like, let's. He didn't have like the sleazeball like pictures and stuff. And one thing that he didn't do is he did it, and because it was, I think his friend requested at night, and so I definitely didn't answer it because I was like, what if he's drunk and I'm gonna start getting, what kind of pics? And I was like, I'm not trying to do that.
Dick pics.
I just got back from St. Joe's for the New Year's.
Oh, yeah? That's a great
I
part.
think Jay and Jeanette hosted it that year.
Okay.
I let it sit there, and then I was like, whatever. I answered it. For the duration that we were talking, no dick pics, no let
Damn
me
it,
see these pics.
Dustin.
No slimy, nothing slimy, just talking. And like I would start conversations and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? And then somewhere along the line, I'm shopping for a birthday meeting. I'm like, birthday meeting?
That's fucking drunk talking about.
Well, I didn't know at the time that he was an AA. And so he kind of explained, and then there was another, like, there was some hints that he gave that he was in the program, but I wasn't picking up what he was putting down. I just wasn't getting
no
it.
idea.
And then when I finally got it, and he came out and said, you know, I'm in AA, and I'm like, oh,
Defriend.
well, then I'm like, I Googled what's AA, and I'm like, because my first encounter was Rob, but he never spilled that info on me. So I had to do the research on him. I'm like, this fool's going to kill my buzz. Like, he's going to kill my good time. So I was going to wean him out. I was just going to wean him out. And then I had some other people that, you know, it's like, he's going to get weaned out and he's just going to fade away. And he didn't fade away. The conversation was good. It was healthy and it was like nice. And he was always with his daughters and he was this. It was just so many things.
Positive.
He just, positive.
Light.
Yeah. And, but then.
Picture of the Chihuahua on this profile.
Yeah, that was so lame. And I was like, yeah. But he it was healthy. And I was like, this is not like the guys I'm meeting in the bars. Like, this is not the guys that I'm like, what's going on, you know?
Not at all.
And it was weird. I'm like, oh, I know what AA is, because one of the places, the dive places I would go to drink was right next to Northside.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that was, I got an altercation there that I started. I wasn't proud of it, but it happened. And so I'm like, I know what AA is. I'm like, those are the fools next door, you know, and because I was already talking to him. And I didn't realize at the time, but
fools next door.
I was having to hide and not be very honest to him when I was saying, I'm like, okay, well, I'll talk to you later. I'm going to go out and do this. I'm going to go with my friends bowling. Well, they didn't know that I just had 10 Jello shots and, you know, and vodka. And then me and my friend decided, well, you drank less than me, so you follow me home, you know.
Right.
Freaking brilliant.
Insane.
And then I'm like, oh, I went to a comedy show. Well, I didn't tell him that, you know, we got so drunk before and after that. I don't remember what comedian we seen, you know, like I left those details out and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. And then sometimes we'd be hanging out, and this is during COVID too. So there's not a lot of places open, but like we'd be driving, doing things. And I'm like, drink there, drink here, drink here.
This is after Benson died. Right after.
Yes. And then, and so I'm like, it's his fault that all this is coming out, because it's maybe like,
damn it, Dustin.
Yes, I'm like, how is all this coming out?
Oh, you AA fuckers.
Still fucking shit
because again, everybody that I hung out with was heavy drinkers. Like we didn't.
I wasn't even an alcoholic till I got into AA.
Yeah. So I was just so
gave her alcoholism.
Just like, I was just kind of like irritated. And then, like he mentioned, the birthday speaker meeting he was chairing, and he was buying gifts and doing this, whatever. And then chairing a meeting. And I remember one day after work, I had this clever idea. It was after work. And remember, you don't drink on weekdays because if so, you're an alcoholic. Well, I had this bright idea. Let's go drink in Oakdale, El Jardines. And
been there.
I was like, well, if so-and-so wants to come with me, then I'll go. If not, I'm going to go home. Well, she didn't want to come. So I'm like, let me call up this one. If she doesn't want to go, then I'm going to go home. I got somebody to come drink with me. And so I'm like, see, it was meant to be. And then I was like, well, someone that day was saying that there's a lot of cops out. Well, I'm smart. So I said, well, let me just make sure I get a designated driver. And if so, then I'll drink. And being the brilliant drinker that I was, I called my oldest son. So, and so we had it all arranged. I don't remember because I was so drunk. I don't remember how it all logistics happened. My son got there somehow, and I didn't have to drink and drive. So, don't you know, good mom, don't drink and drive because I have kids to go home to. And then I was so plastered, and that's where he the part of his story where he was chairing the Wednesday meeting. And don't you know, I want my man. I want to talk to him. And I wanted to ring.
It's your man.
Oh, at this time, I was drunk. And we hadn't even made things
that
official.
drunk call.
Yeah.
The drunk
call. We weren't even official yet.
Oh, yeah. We were, no, but I want to talk to him. And
I'm going to show him some AA.
Yeah. So, and
she was on the phone with me, and I'm looking for a topic.
Yeah.
And then Katrina took the phone from her.
Yeah. And then I was so plastered. And then, so it's time to go home. I had vomited, came back, drank some more. I was like, okay, now I'm ready to go.
Puking rally.
Yeah. And then, but I'm a good drunk. I cleaned up with myself. I remember that. Sobered me up.
Did
So
you
I was
hold
like,
your own hair that time?
I did.
Jimmy was in the car.
Well, not yet. That was the second time I threw up.
Oh,
But so inside the restaurant, I drank and I threw up
once.
because I cleaned it. I lost a little bit of my buzz. So I went back out there and I was like, well, let me get a little bit more before I go home. And then we're driving down the main street in Oakdale, and on the right-hand side, I was in the back seat, and then I told my son, pull over because I got to throw up. And so I went to throw up, and then I was just like barfing at the side of the road in downtown Oakdale on a Wednesday evening. Yeah. And then I looked up at my son in the driver's seat, and he was just smiling and laughing. And I was like, that's not normal.
Mm-mm.
That's not normal, you know? And I was like, okay, this is not okay. This is not normal. And then I'm thinking to myself, then my mind started racing because my friend was drinking too, and she drove her own car home, and all these thoughts had killed my buzz, and we're driving home. And I just felt like the shittiest person. But I still wasn't done. You know, I still wasn't done. But that his face kept showing up to me. And so that's when I was telling him, I was like, you know, and he wouldn't invite me to a meeting. I was like, what a dick. You know, maybe he has girls or something over there that he doesn't want me to see or whatever. Because I was highly insecure and
Well, you had been treated that way.
insecure, jealous, very all those
Right.
things.
Abandonment.
Abandonment.
She had it all.
Yeah. So I was all those things. And then finally I was like, I want to go to a meeting and take me to a fucking meeting. Like, I want to go. I want to support you. I want to go.
Yeah.
So, and right now it's during COVID. So none of the meetings.
He's about 9 years sober right now, but she's going to support you.
Right.
And so none of the meetings were actually normal meetings. There happened to be one that was being held in Fire Park, and he found that for me, and we went, and I was just like so nervous and so shy, and so it's like just because my anxiety was through the roof because I can't go drunk to a meeting, or so I know you can, but I didn't, and so I'm like okay, and I never drank around him because I was like I gotta respect him, you know, or he's gonna smell it or something, and then and go ahead.
Just that's my first meeting. Rob is he spoke right there at that same
I was just saying.
meeting area
yeah.
for CVI, and that was the first time I ever heard Rob speak. And it was in that same park area, picnic area.
Oh, that was Jeanette. had to
Yeah,
speak
you
for
was to
the
say
team-
that's.
for
I've
the
heard you
football-
talk about
for
that.
the
CGI?
softball game.
Yeah,
Softball.
CVI family
Yeah.
softball event.
So see how the table's
Yeah.
turning. That's kind of different, but
Right.
yeah,
She was there.
no.
No,
She'd gotten
But
drunk.
my
That's the
first
first meeting.
meeting was in the park that another member had held.
during COVID. All
Yeah.
meetings are shut down right now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's
Um,
meetings at people's houses, other
Yeah.
places.
And then so we got there, and then everybody, you know, and of course people know, like now that I know, like when you see a newcomer, you don't see a familiar face. Newbie, you know, they're new. And
You
so
could see it in their eyes.
oh yeah. And I was clinging to him, like, you know, I was so scared. And then they got to the part where they read more about alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hold on. So they read it, and I'm like, oh my God, he did this meeting for me. Like, he told them I was coming. Like, he told them like all these things that I did. And
That's
I'm
so
like,
funny.
because I was like, how do they know I do all these things? And now I know it's just the reading that you know, newcomers. And I'm like, so self-centered and so naive. I'm
Right.
like, this must have been for me, you know?
So
So,
funny.
So if all the signs weren't there that she's an
yeah.
she told me that, I'm like, yeah, you
Yeah.
earned
You
your
belong
chair.
there.
And so, I don't know how things kind of went kind of fast. And at that point, my anxiety was through the roof because I had nothing. And then when I was trying not to drink, another thing that I left out, NyQuil was a friend because it's not
Oh.
alcohol. So I was taking those with muscle relaxers. Those were a good
Oh,
combo
good
for
Lord.
me. So those
Dr.
were nice.
Alcoholic Addict.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I loved NyQuil. Like it was because I felt like I was being a better
the
person.
nighttime
you know?
stimulus season, coffee, naked fever, so you stuff
Yeah.
your head so you can rest
Right.
medicine.
So, and again, so I'm like, I'm not an alcoholic. That's just NyQuil. But, and the muscle relaxers was just a kicker because the anxiety and the alcoholism, like I
Gotta
couldn't
have
sleep
it.
at night.
Combo.
And so one time that reminded me, he made a comment one day when we're on the phone, and he was like, when I go to bed at night, I lay my head down and I have peace.
Mm.
Like, what's that like? What?
Yeah.
So I wasn't intrigued by not wanting to. I never had the intention to not stop drinking because I was always. I'm like, I'm just gonna go there to learn how to drink like a lady because I must not know how to drink like a lady or drink correctly or something was just
Yeah. They're gonna teach you.
not right, you know. And then I never had the plan because I didn't know AA was it was absent. I didn't know that, and then but I wanted that. I wanted that. I wanted
Mm.
peace.
Mm.
I never in my life had that. And so I'm like, okay. And so there were some other things that he had talked about that I wanted. And freedom and just so many things and how people love you there. And there's something he told me early on that came up in the conversation, how women and men love each other from the neck up. Like bullshit. That's gotta be a F fest over there. Like you guys can't tell me that. Like,
The
'cause
meat
I was
market.
yeah, basically. And I was like, okay, but I wanted peace. So I'm intrigued. Let's go. Let's show me what you got. So I'm
That
gonna go
right
to
there.
support you. And so he got me involved with one of the women that has a lot of recovery that he happened to know. It was my first sponsor. I've had 3 sponsors in a matter of less than 6 years. And I'll be always internally thankful. She knows that book from front to back.
Is
She's
that Leslie?
no, that is Vicky.
Oh,
She
yeah.
knows that book.
Yes, she does.
It just wasn't a fit. It just was not a fit. And I knew
You
that
learned that
on.
early on.
I was
Good
not
for
a fit
you.
early. And then I just knew. And I was searching and I knew my heart and I wasn't honest. I wasn't pure. I wasn't thorough. I was nothing. But she crashed me through those steps so quick because she was afraid I was gonna go back out. And I was gonna go back out. I was ready. I was gonna ditch him. Loved the guy. Didn't love him yet. Liked him a lot. Wanted that. I seen the potential, but I was
You
he
wanted
was
your
gonna-
alcohol.
I wanted alcohol and he was gonna get in the way of that.
Damn
And
it,
so I was like,
Dustin,
dang
you
it.
fucker.
Yeah. So but I trusted the path and I went with her. And this is why I know God would intervene because I knew she wasn't the sponsor for me. And I was like, but how could that not be? She has so much knowledge. She has so many sponsees. What's wrong with me? You know, once again, I don't fit in. And so one day him and I were going at it. Life was happening, money and instability again. And I was freaking out. I'm like going back to my childhood because I didn't know where I was going to go with the divorce because he was controlling the house and things like this. And by then I didn't have like there were so many things that were up in the air. And for the first time I had to venture out and get my own place with my kids. And it was really scary. And because like living there was no longer healthy anymore with him in the same house. And anyhow, so there's things going on. And I never wanted to go to a meeting alone because again, the anxiety that was crippling. Like I couldn't move. Like sometimes my anxiety gets to me and I'll just freeze because I can't move. My body doesn't know how to function. But this night, I know my higher power walked with me in that room. I sat in that room and he wasn't there. It was in an evening meeting because I wanted to drink. And I said, I gotta go to a meeting. I don't know what else to do. I don't think it's gonna work. And if anything, I'll just drink after. But I went and I seen a woman that was in that meeting. And you don't see a lot of Hispanic women in well, I didn't see a lot of Hispanic women in the meetings. And I happen to see, and even though I'm half, I relate more to my Hispanic side because I just do. And she started to share. And I feel like there was like AA halo just went over her arms. Like God was calling me to her. And she had a nice bag. She had the
This
nice
gave me
nails.
chills.
She just everything she was saying was just she was so fluid. She was so vocal. She was so outspoken. And I don't know if you can remember, Rob, but me about 6-7 years ago, I was more quiet, more just stay under the radar, more spoken to. Like I don't want to. This woman, she had a voice and she said it with her chest. She was strong in who she was. I want that.
Yep.
I want, and the nice bag that she had on the table, I wanted that too. And I'm all about materialistic things at this point still. And I walked up to her and I just said whatever I said to her and asked her if she'd sponsor me. She said, yeah. I said, okay. And so I let my old sponsor know, hey, it's
You're
not gonna
fired.
work. Yeah. And this is what's gonna happen. And I love that woman. That name's Alicia. And she walked me through the steps and she helped me with a lot of growth. She helped me to love myself, that self-affirmations, those words of affirmations. There you go. she helped me through things that I didn't know I needed help with. She helped me to grow. She helped me to love who I am and to understand that I'm not my past and I'm not what people made me like. She was a good woman to me. She's very involved in the room. She has sponsees. She has a sponsor. She's a good woman. We became really good friends, very good friends. Well, we would hang out. We would eat. We would supposed to meet up to do step work. We ended up eating. We ended up getting our nails done. We ended up doing this. We ended up doing that. We became friends. There was,
the best.
Well,
That's
It
not
was
the
and it
accountability-
wasn't.
The accountability.
it was and
can
it
and can't
wasn't.
be.
Unfortunately for me and her, we became friends, and AA went out the door. For us, this is
Wow,
just my
really?
experience. This was just my experience.
Really?
Where but man, that woman would lay down everything from. I know she's got the heart. I mean, her heart. She loves her God. She's a good woman. She helped me to reconnect and want me to find my relationship with my higher power. That is forever grateful for her because I didn't have the relationship with God because don't you know he don't love me. He forgot about
Right.
me. You know, she told me that wasn't true, and I'm forever ever grateful to her for that. And
During that time, though,
yeah,
if I can interject,
yeah,
during that time when some meetings started opening back up,
Right.
and she was telling me, I just don't feel this person. I need another sponsor. So I'm saying, okay, there's a women's meeting here. There's women's. The anxiety that
Mhm.
she had. Tried to go to Northside to a 7 a.m. and she freaking held my knee the whole freaking time.
Yeah.
So the moment when because I don't know if you remember that night, you called me. She's like, "There's this girl and she had this bag and she's Mexican and I had already been wanting to point her in that direction, but God worked.
To this, for that
I knew
particular
as soon as
lady.
she told me
To that
she started
particular
to
lady.
shy, it's like, oh, it's Alicia.
Yeah.
I knew it from the moment. I'm gonna get in chills right now. But I didn't point her in that. She had to do it on her own. She had
Yeah.
to do that, make that leap.
Mm.
Now that the meetings were opening back up, I was making the suggestions. Well, there's this meeting, there's other women's meetings. I was even throwing out names with 30
Were you
years
guys
of
living together
sobriety.
at this point, or were you
No.
still trying to work?
No.
You were working relationships still separately. Were you even really together at this
Yeah,
point?
we were together.
Okay.
We were
okay.
together, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I asked her to be my sponsor, and things were great. Like I said, she helped me connect with my higher power, which I think that's what she was put in my life for. She helped me to create that relationship with my higher power. She's just an amazing woman. When I had it, some things were going on with me though, and now I learned with my current sponsor and talking to other people, I just outgrew her,
Mhm.
and that's okay. And when I ended up having to leave her, I asked before I did. I talked to Rob. I talked to my partner. I talked to people that I respected in the
Right.
program,
Good for you.
and
Good for you.
because I didn't want to make no decisions because I didn't trust myself.
Your
you know?
sobriety.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I did everything that I had to do, and when I told her, because I was always taught from my first sponsor, when you leave a sponsor, you tell that sponsor, you don't just leave them in the hanging. You tell them.
Ain't
you
what
know?
Rob told me.
Well,
Rob told
that's what
me.
they told me.
Jay will figure it out sooner or
Well,
later.
that's Jay, too.
Yeah, so I told her, and
It'll injure them or others, though. That's what I've been
Yeah.
told.
No, but with Jay, because Jay basically pawned him off on me.
He didn't fucking stop acting like I was a fucking charity case,
Well,
fucker.
He introduced us,
Yes.
and then he walked off.
Yes.
And he goes, "Well, should I go tell Jay?"
It was a couple days later that after we'd started working, I'm like, should I tell Jay? And he's like, he'll figure it out. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's all good.
yeah.
That's what I've been told.
But when I told that sponsor, Alicia, that, I remember the phone call. I was driving down Langworth, coming home from work, and I remember I just had to do it. I had to do it then, and we cried on the phone with each other because I love her, and to this day I still love her. She's one of my contacts. She's gonna be at our wedding. Like, I love this woman, and I love her sobriety. We just had but I left a couple of things too. Early on, my first sponsor told me I volunteered to get into activities. I was like, do you not know who I am and my crippling anxiety? And how am I going to talk to these people that I don't even know and do? What's wrong with this woman? And then that same sponsor told me you need to chair a meeting. What is wrong with this? I did it, but I mean, what's wrong with her?
Nothing.
I did it, And ever since then, except for 1 year out of these last 6 years, 1 year, I've been on the activities committee.
But you and I at times can get over.
Oh,
We can overdo
we'll
ourselves.
get there. Yeah. So so when I was on that call down Langworth in Oakdale, talked to my sponsor, breaking up with her, saying I'm going a different way. But before I did that, I said I talked to my people that I trusted, and I talked to the person that I was potentially going to ask to be my sponsor, make sure she had the availability first before I made that leap, because I had to plan everything out. And so
Langworth, by the way, is where I got in my major accident.
oh wow.
That's so funny to hear you even say it.
Yeah. So I don't remember hardly anything. Like I have the worst memory, but I remember significant things like that. And that was a significant moment in my life. And then and since, and like I said, I've been in activities, I've chaired meetings. And then anyhow, so I asked my sponsor that currently is sponsoring me. Her name is Tiambe. She has 30 years of sobriety. And
What a name.
that
She's awesome.
that
What, say it
woman,
again?
Tiambe,
Wow.
she had everything I aspired to be. When she walks with confidence. When she walks in the room, she's known. Her story is known, and she's respected. And she's not her past. She is who she is today. She is who, you know.
I need to get out more.
She's just a great person. She
shared a primary purpose about 10 years ago.
she's an amazing person. And I asked her to sponsor me, and she terrified me. She still does kind of sometimes.
We
She
talked
still
about
does.
that.
Oh, she terrifies me. And anything that scares me, I'm gonna walk away from it.
Why is she scary?
Because women always intimidating me, like really respectable and like confident women intimidate me because I'd never been around them. You know, I never really had any women, and so I didn't know how to be one with men. I'm fine, like because I have my dad, my grandpa, my brother, my everybody, men. Women intimidated me. I didn't know why. I did have my stepmom in my past, but we didn't have the greatest upbringing. And she since then made amends to me. She's not one of us. She's far from one of us. But she made amends to me for how she was. She didn't process that relationship when I was younger. And to this day, even though my dad's passed on and they were divorced, she's my stepmom. She'll be at my wedding at one of the front tables. She's a really important part of my life.
She just sent gift cards.
Yeah, she's a good woman. So anyhow, and just in these last couple of years, and it's this alcoholism over these years. I've lost a cousin to alcoholism. I just lost my stepsister, her daughter. She died of alcoholism. So like this has been a part of, you know, my life. And so since I've been in recovery, but I asked this most recent sponsor to sponsor me, Tiambe, and she intimidated me. She scared me. But I want what she had. And she had recovery that is just impeccable. And I was like, and she makes mistakes, and she's human, you know. But she knows that book and she practices it. She doesn't just walk in the room and then come outside the room and she's a different person. Like she practices the principles. And I wanted that. And I was like, I was and when I first got with her and I first started meeting with her, the first meeting, she kind of laid down the laws, how it's going to go and what we're going to do. And I was like, oh, how do I back out? You know, I'm too scared to back out now. I'm too scared. And I'm scared.
Rules? I don't want no rules.
Yeah. I'm like, and she's going to, if for the first time, and like I said, I've been in the rooms about 5.5 years, almost 6 years. I worked those steps. Something is not significant, but it is. I had this one journal when I started AA back in 2020 that I used with my first 2 sponsors, and it's maybe a quarter way full. And then with this sponsor, I have 2 whole journals, and I have told you maybe buy a new journal because I actually worked these steps and I wrote. This is the first time I've ever wrote, and I put pen to paper. When he'd always do that stuff, I'm like, what a loser. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's old
Nerd.
school, you know?
Freaking nerd.
And now that I put pen to paper, I'm like, I get what it means. Yeah. I understand it.
It flows out.
My sponsor and me, we got through that. And there's no flaking. Like, our commitments are our commitments. I guess life happens. We got through the traditions. And now I'm flying solo, as she says. But she would always ask me things like, how free do you want to be? And at first I'm like,
who says that?
Some little midget.
And at first she would irritate me with that. And I'm, you know, but I'm like, I want to be free. I've never been free ever.
See, that never, I've heard that 3 or 4 people I've heard that say that whenever whenever they ask how free do you want to be, it irritated me. And I'm like, because the moment you said a little bit ago, the moment I saw that little glimmer of hope, a little glimmer of light, that peace and that serenity was going to come into me, I wanted it all. I was not going to stop until I had it. And then Rob, about how free do you want to be? I don't fucking rip this shit out of me. I want it all out.
Yeah.
I want it all out.
Steps, and steps with people like that are easy.
Yeah.
It's easy.
But I'm getting ready to go through the steps again.
Yeah.
Why? Because as Rob says, I'm a different person now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm see things differently.
And Dustin, he's going with somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I said I
Awesome.
fired him. I wanted to do this in a different, right?
Well,
I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And because you're different,
Yeah.
it'll be different,
Right.
which is awesome.
And see, with this being my third sponsor, this is the third time I worked the steps.
Mm.
And you know what? I messed up a big part of me. When I was with my second sponsor, I relapsed. Him and I got an argument. Like I said, life was happening. Things happened.
Fucking Dustin.
Fucking
It's all
Dustin
your
again.
fault. It's all your fault.
Life
Not a
was
perfect man.
happening. Me and my kids were going. My oldest
Not a
son was
saint.
challenging me. Things were happening. And I was like, and my head was, and I was unmedicated. I was unmedicated, and this comes with my
And
anxiety.
unsupervised.
Oh, unsupervised. And
Couldn't get her to go to a meeting.
oh no, I'm like a meeting. Like,
Be honest.
I did not want. In the beginning of sobriety, going to a meeting, I'm like, I don't want to hear all these people bitch about everything. Oh, I don't want to hear this. I can't relate with these bikers. I can't relate with these drug addicts. I've never gotten a DUI. I've never gone to jail. I don't want to be here. Like I don't want to be here. Like I'm just not going to drink. You know.
I will say that's the difference between primary purpose and some of these other meetings. You don't have, I noticed that early on into my in going to the different meetings. Northside had different clientele. Primary purpose had a different clientele. New Hope had some. I mean,
Well, the thing with primary, every topic, whoever the chairperson
Right.
is, it comes from the first one
Right.
of 64 pages.
Mhm.
You stay in the solution.
right.
We don't give a shit about your drug
Right.
log. What are you doing to stay sober today? Do you have a sponsor? It's all about the solution. It's different.
And now living sober, you got everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the hell? And then I had heard about primary purposes, little uppity up, and I had heard about Norris. I had heard, I'm like, well, maybe I just need to find my type of alcohol.
Find your groove.
But something always kept bringing me back to living sober. And I'm just like, okay. But then, like I said, when that day was happening, anxiety was really bad. Depression was always really bad with me. And I relapsed and I drank. And I was like, well, damn. But it was so messed up because, like they say, a belly full of booze and a mind full of AA. It messed me up. I was so
Fucked my drinking
pissed
all up.
off. I was like, this is just not even. And then I'm like, if I'm going to go start drinking again, I love mimosas and champagne. So I'm like, I'm going to go big if I'm going to start drinking again. So I went and got my champagne. It exploded all over my closet because I drank out of my closet when I was trying to hide it.
A walk-in closet.
A walk-in closet, and it exploded all over my hall
Did you know
closet.
she was relapsing?
No.
No, not at the time. And then and him and I were together. But the champagne went all over, and it was just a whole big mess. And I was just like, this is not even what it was. Whatever.
It was
I
God.
heard
God
about
took
the
that
complaining
champagne
of how
into
much
this.
it took to clean it.
Oh,
all
I
over the
took
wall.
so much to clean.
All
that
the
shit.
giggles were
Yeah,
gone
it
by
was.
now.
Yeah, it was just anyhow. So I did
I got that
relapse.
in.
Yeah, and then but down the line with the sponsor now, I got into the book and what recovery was and who I am. I finally, for the first time, does Dustin do things that makes me happy? Yeah. But what makes me happy? What makes
Mhm.
me function? What
Right.
makes me alive? And what do I like to do besides drinking and shopping and things that are, not good for me? How do I tick? Where do I connect with my higher power? What am I doing for my recovery? And every day, what am I doing for my recovery?
Right.
And over these last few years, and right now, currently as it stands, I'm the recording secretary for our fellowship. I'm the activities committee member. And I think and then I'm on the Freedom Weekend Committee. So those are I think that's all I'm doing right now. Yeah, that's all I'm doing right now.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, so I'm doing those.
That's it. That's
well,
most
yeah.
than more people do in a lifetime of
And
AA.
then, and this is coming from the person that said early on, said,
You
"You're a
really give your time away.
sucker. You do this stuff for free?" Because I asked them how much they pay you to do this stuff for the birthday meeting, for trying the meeting.
Sorry.
They said nothing. And I'm like, "You sucker." I'm like, "I have a full-time job. I am not giving my time away
Right.
to these people that are probably ungrateful." And then now I would give everything that I have
Mhm.
to these rooms,
But
and
at, but at
especially my
times you were
fellowship.
doing it to hide. You were hiding.
Oh, for a while, um, and things have changed. Like he said in the beginning, I didn't want to go to meetings because I didn't want to get real. I don't want
Right.
people. If I speak too much, people are going to start to see the inside. They're going to know who I really am, and I don't want that, And so if I just kind of stay below the radar, and then I didn't want recovery. I just wanted the problem to go away. I didn't want to admit that I was an alcoholic. I was like, okay, I get it. Like I can't drink, but I didn't want recovery. I didn't want what it took to stay sober. I was okay with being a dry drunk. I heard what that was about. And I'm like, I'm okay with that. I've been miserable my whole life. I can do this, but a lot of times early in sobriety, I thought, when is this going to go away? Because there's going to be graduations. There's going to be,
Oh.
weddings. There's going to be this. How am I not going to drink?
There's 4th of
Yeah,
July, birthdays,
I'm going to stand out like a sore thumb.
Camping.
And who wants to do that? And how am I going to?
lump on the log.
And then I found out NyQuil, you couldn't use NyQuil as a sedative. I'm like, how am I going to function? Like these people don't understand that I have real issues, And then, before I got to this sponsor that I have right now, a couple years ago, I was doing service work and I was trying to be a part of my fellowship. And, this is before him, I moved in together. And him and I were getting more serious. Like we were talking about moving in with each other and things like that. And just a lot of things started going out of hand. I still wasn't medicated properly. I wasn't taking medications. My world started crashing again. And that thought of, oh, I want to drink again, it came back. I'm like, son of a bitch, something's not right again. Like I didn't do this right. Like God doesn't pity me, pity me, pity me. And I remember one night I was laying in bed at his house and I just started to cry because I didn't want to tell him that, hey, I want to drink. Hey, that I'm feeling like I want to kill myself. Hey, I want to drive off a cliff. Because these things will get me committed, or he's gonna break up with me because he's a true AA person. And I know he is dedicated to AA. And if I tell him that I want to drink, he's going to leave me because he left his ex-wife because she didn't want to get clean, So I thought these things. And so I just sat there crying and just telling him, like, I can't remember exactly what I told him, but I couldn't stop myself from crying.
It was somewhere along the lines of it was a little bit of the suicide.
Yeah.
Our mind, I was listening to,
what is this thing in my head that just promotes misery?
Mhm.
Something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with me.
Danny
Something's
from
wrong
the
with
Sober
them.
Spot. Our minds, and it's hard to
What does the
explain.
book say? The problem with the alcoholic centers in his mind. Rather than his
It's
body.
hard to
Manufacturing
explain.
misery.
Right. It's so hard to explain to non-alcoholic people. You know what? That's bullshit because I think a lot of people have that, but we let it run awry, right? We let our brains just go to a different level. And I still let it go there from time to time. But as an alcoholic, I'm able to call Rob, right? I'm able
as
to
a
recover. Yes, I'm able to rein that back in. You hadn't learned that yet where you were at that point.
I think
Yeah.
healthy people in the counseling world call it negative self-talk.
Right.
We
right.
have an obsessive mind
Yes.
that
yes.
puts it on like steroids.
Yes.
That's all
absolutely.
we think.
Yes.
Yeah. So like 2.5 years ago, I think it was in June. Yeah, because it was right before Freedom Weekend.
It was the first time you opened up
Big time.
really to me, and
Yeah.
she just cried and sobbed on my
Because for
shoulder.
the longest time, mental health wasn't real. Like I was always told in my past relationship and stuff, mental health is not real. Like you suck it up, buttercup. Like
Yeah.
it's not real. It's not
That's
real.
sorry. That's that Hispanic
It is.
blood in you.
It
Sorry.
is.
And to my defense, it was the first time that I actually seen what she was talking about, that she had
The mental health. Yeah.
She had mental
Right,
health
right.
because she put on for so long with the 18-year marriage. Also,
Right.
the Joneses and it
Yeah.
was smoke and mirrors. It took me to actually have to be able to see her for that because she did such a good job
Right.
hiding for a long
she
time.
wore, she wore
I-
the mask.
I
And
hid
I
it.
seen that and I
Yeah.
felt it from her finally.
I
Yeah.
hid it. I hid it for such a very long time that when I got sober, when I got sober and I dealt with it, for my wife to hear me explain how I wanted to run my car through a barn to kill myself, it was very difficult for her to hear that.
Yeah.
It was very difficult for her to hear that.
Right.
And she didn't realize, because I had masked it for so long, she didn't, and she's living in the same house with me.
Mhm.
She knew I had depression, but she didn't know it was at that level.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how it was for me. So like 2.5 years ago, I feel like I had to live up to this persona, like, because he seen me as this independent woman, like from what this is words I heard from him over the years, and like I had it all together.
Uh-huh.
So don't you know I have to make you believe
and
that.
that takes a lot
It
of
does.
work.
That wears on you.
It does. And then
Was that when you called me and that's the first time I met Corey?
Yes.
well, this is before. So that night we were there, and in the industry that I work in, especially in the summer, it's difficult. It's very stressful. It takes
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
out of you.
Yeah.
It's a male dominated industry, and sometimes you got to act like you're tougher than what you really are. Now I don't have to, because I have a really good relationship where I work, but so I had finances. I had my whole life being flipped upside down. And even though I wanted to leave that, because I filed for divorce back in 2018, but it wasn't finalized till 2023 because of COVID and because of him and delaying things. So it wasn't for a long time. I had so many things. And then my oldest son was going through his things that I put him through, that the marriage put him through, that my new relationship put him through. So we had so many things going on, and I was just crumbling. And that thought goes, if you just drink, it'll all go away. Like it'll go away.
Mm.
And I'm like, I can't drink because I have AA knowledge now. Don't you know? I know this. I can't drink. Because I'm an alcoholic. But the image, because I drive through, the mountains coming up to go to Jamestown, and there's some cliffs that I know. If I threw my car, but they're not deep enough, so I thought maybe I had to go further up higher. And I started coming up with a plan. If I just
God.
go over a cliff. And so I was thinking these things, and they wouldn't stop. Drive over the cliff. And so I was laying in his bed at night, and I couldn't keep the tears. And then no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop crying. And I just opened up. And I cried until the next day when I had to get up and go to work. And that's when I got to work. And then I came into the office, and I stopped crying for a few minutes. And then Stevie said, "Hey, what's going on?" How we always do the check-in in the morning. And I just started to cry. And he goes, "Whoa." And I don't know kind of what happened there, because it got a little foggy there. But from there,
He called me.
so then he called you and told you what happened. And next thing I know, Corey was there, I think, which was our boss. And I was sitting, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. Because I was sitting at my desk, and I had already opened up to let the trucks come in. And next thing I know, I saw my boss walk in. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to keep it together with him in this office? Like, because I didn't know what was going on at the time, at the minute. And he walked by, and he sat in the office in that chair that all the guys, I call it my therapy chair, that everybody sits there across my desk and talks to me. And he sat there, and I looked at him, and he goes, "How are you doing?" And I just cried.
Mm.
And I cried. But before that, I think, it's kind of messed up there, because in between all that, then Corey stepped in, and he took over my desk job, and because I couldn't keep myself together.
You went to the other.
And then I
Steve
went to
Jones-
the other
Steve's
room,
office.
into Steve's office, and that's where Rob talked to me. And then he talked to me for I don't know how long.
I'm pretty sure I remember that. You and I were speaking during that period of time. I remember when that happened.
And then I just had that break, and I remember, and then the whole time he's talking to me, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna get drunk. I'm not gonna drink, but I guarantee when you guys give me a chance, I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna end this. Like, none of you are gonna change my mind.
Miserable.
Yeah. None of you are gonna change my mind.
Well,
Dustin
and-
came up.
And then that's when I don't know how things all happened, but then Dustin came up, things came up, and then
You came up with somebody.
Robert.
yes, with
My
Robert.
sponsor.
Yeah. And then that's when Corey, my boss, great time for him to meet my boyfriend. Because like me to make a mess. And then someone held it all together, and then everything just come crumbling. At that point, I'm just like, here we go. This is a shit show. And
Let it go. Let it go.
In her defense, though, I wasn't the knight in the shining armor that I said I was going to be.
Yeah.
I told her I'm in this program, Alcoholics Anonymous, and I can't lie. Well, I end up lying to her. I end up, some of those shortcomings end up coming out. Some of my defects.
yeah.
Trying to hold it all together while she's trying to figure out who she is. I started not knowing who I was. by being a codependent to her.
Can
and
you
I'm
explain that
still-
a little bit, though, Dustin? Can you explain that a little bit?
On what part?
Where did your shortcomings come out
Oh,
with her?
some of my anger issues, some of the
Okay,
defects
okay, okay.
of my delusions.
But during
thinking
this period of time or prior to that?
when we were dating,
Okay,
yeah, right
okay,
around this time. So
okay,
it wasn't just her mental health.
okay,
This was the relationship stuff too.
okay.
Life was life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything was just kind of building up. And I was struggling. I didn't know what to do. And then, so anyhow, so Dustin came up with his sponsor, Robert, and then they drove me down and they took me to Kaiser Hospital. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh, things are kind of clicking. The security's watching me and all this other stuff. And they had me on a suicide watch.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, he tricked me, you bastards. And then they ended up having me have a video chat with my psychiatrist on the phone, because I had a psychiatrist. I had medications. I just wasn't taking them because my head was
Because
telling
you're
me
smarter than that.
I'm smarter than that. I don't
Mhm.
need medication. And again, all of my life, like even from my grandparents, I love them and they're great to me. Mental health, even when I had that suicide note at a young age, that's not true. You need to pray.
Mm.
You need to pray. You need to pray. So mental health is an illusion to me. It's not like you don't have it. So anyhow, I got admitted. I ended up going to because I had Kaiser, so I ended up going to a place in Stockton. Woo, that was a wake up call. That I met some good ones in there.
They counted 2 days of the hold though.
Yeah.
Was why she was in Kaiser, and I was in the room with her, sleeping on the floor.
And Kaiser, because they didn't have a room for me yet, so I didn't have to do that much time at the actual facility. But I got out, and don't you know, I'm going to kickstart AA, and everything is going to be great. Everything's going to be perfect. No, it didn't happen that way. I wrote it out with my sponsor, and she didn't really push me to do anything, so I didn't really do anything. So
Alicia.
everything, Alicia, so everything was still kind of floating. I was just still
Well, that's
doing the
why.
same
That-
thing.
That answers that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
became friends.
yeah, we became really good friends. And then but somewhere down the line, him and I, that opened up communication for me and him. And he one of his so he got somebody that was telling him, because his wife had because I have bipolar depression and depression, and then I have anxiety, and so somebody gave him a book, and he started to learn about that.
Good for you,
And I
Dustin.
seen that.
Chris G.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I
Mm.
seen that he was taking a learning. He was trying to figure me out. He
Good
wasn't
for
trying
you,
to leave
Dustin.
me.
No, attaboy.
He wasn't trying to
That's how it's done.
get an escape route. He was trying to figure me
Yep.
out.
I didn't finish the book though.
Yeah, he didn't finish the book.
Only 3/4 of it.
But he wasn't trying to run like everybody else did. He
Mm.
wasn't trying to pawn me off. And I was like, okay. So I started opening up a little
That's a
more.
man. That's
I
a man.
started like he wanted to know more.
Mm.
And he started asking me. And then I started opening up. And it took a long time, but I felt safe for the first time. And I finally had somebody that wasn't gonna leave, that wasn't gonna run. And that's amazing. And but at the backside of that, that's where my recovery comes in too. Because though he wasn't going to leave, recovery taught me that if he does, I'm still going to get through this.
Yeah, you'll be
I'm
all right.
still going to be okay. But thank God somebody put somebody in my path that believes in me, And so I don't know when it started changing, but eventually, and I say it's God, but I say something told me you need to get back in touch with a psychiatrist. And so I did. And I started being open with him and said, this is what I take for this. And this is what I take for this. And then
I haven't been taken.
But I haven't been taken. And he's really good on that now. He's sometimes, and there'll be days still I struggle, but I don't want to take those. Like, I feel like, I beat this and I don't need to take it. And he'll catch me and he'll be like, have you taken them?
Bitch, I don't want crazy. Take
Yeah.
these pills.
He's like, have you taken them? But in a subtle way,
Well,
But,
when she's in a manic, and I
oh,
know
yeah.
the lows now.
Oh, yeah.
And I
You can
I
recognize
didn't
it.
recognize none of that.
Right.
Before it was just, to me, it was just deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
You're depressed, go for a walk. Get
Yeah.
out of that. And
Yeah.
now I understand, being with Priscilla, I understand the grips of it, how it's a physical, not
Mhm.
only a mental.
Right.
It can
Oh,
just-
it'll just destroy you.
one of my
the-
friends,
We don't know because we don't experience that.
Right.
Well, I had another guy at a meeting, and I was bitching and moaning after a meeting, the meeting after the meeting, and he told me, "Don't you know it takes everything I have to even send a text message?" And I
Yep.
was like, "Oh shit!" Like physically, I didn't understand
yeah.
that it could grip
Well,
you.
and then I started opening up, saying that that every day,
Paralyzes
and
you.
I'm an OCD freak. Like I take a shower in the morning, I take one in the night, and then my house has to be this way, and my house has to look like nobody lives in it. Like I have these rituals, but my depression gets so crippling that I had to convince myself to take a shower, convince myself to brush my teeth, convince myself to get dressed. Like I had to constantly talk to God and talk to myself and get, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. But when I was able to open up, it didn't mean that my depression and anxiety went away.
Nope.
It means that I'm free now.
Yep.
Because I don't have to hide that anymore.
Right. And there's a lot of, that takes a lot of effort, man.
And everything in my past, from the molestation, from the anxiety, from the dirty clothes to the this, to the, I don't have to hide that. I do not. If you want to judge me, go ahead and judge me. If you want to feel this way about me, and that was never me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you
Oh,
have.
it's came out now.
Oh yeah. So it's like, it's. I wanted everybody to think that I was perfect. I had it together. I want to stay below the radar, and I wanted you to like me. And like my because I said I'm a people pleaser. She's like, oh no, you're a manipulator because you're manipulating the way people think about you and things. And I was like, and all I came to recovery for is for peace. And then what I ended up getting was freedom. I found out who Priscilla is. I found my voice. I found, love for myself. I developed a relationship with my son that wasn't based off of material things. Like we have a bond like I've never had in my life before. I have a partner that there's not just honesty, there's transparency. For the first time.
Say that again, because that's huge. Not just honesty, but
that's transparent. Because you can tell the truth, but I mean, I want to see your insight. I want to see your core. I want to know who you are. I don't want you just to give me illusion, because you can tell me half-ass the truth with, by words, play word games, but I want to know that transparent. I want the raw stuff, and I know
stuff that I've hidden all my life.
Yeah.
And don't try to sponsor each other.
That's the biggest thing. But we do say call your sponsor, or have you called your sponsor? We do that.
In other words, bitch, you're crazy. Call somebody.
It took a lot. So to where I had to pull back and, your opinion's not fucking needed.
Right.
Yeah. And my sponsor taught me that. Does it need to be said? Does it need to be said by you? And does it need to be said right now?
But again, because our stories are very similar. And apparently the way we do A is very similar, because she'll ask me something, and over the years she asked me my opinion on things, and then she'll let Dustin said the same thing. Dustin said the same thing.
Yeah.
But then she's got to go to Tiambe to hear it.
Yeah, I got to go to Tiambe, to Romp, to this. Yeah.
But
it's been great.
That's so adult.
It's something.
I pick people's brains.
Yeah.
I pick people's brains.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always told now when I make big decisions to go to 3 people that you trust in the program, and I do that.
And if their opinion differs from mine, I go with theirs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about to say I go to 2 people. I'm like, Larry, Dustin, hey, I'm going through this. I don't tell them what I think. I said, this is what I'm facing. Give me your opinion.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
if it's different than mine,
but that goes back. Rob, you go back, and I'm playing devil's advocate here now. You have said, don't be that guy that goes to 3 different people. No. Let me finish.
Okay,
Let me finish. Let me finish, because I want to make sure we clarify. I know what you're going to say, but I also am be very cautious, because I've heard you say that. If you go to 3 different people, don't pick the one that you want to. Don't pick the one that you want to hear.
The gentleman that I'm talking about, he would go to 15 different people, because he'd pick 5 of us.
Yeah.
And we'd all tell him the same thing, but he'd go talk to his dad, and he'd find that one person that co-signed his bullshit, and that's what he would go with.
Right.
I'd call 2 people.
Right. No,
if I'm struggling with
I just
something,
want to make sure we clarify that, because that's important
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah. So, like I said, I came in here to learn how to drink like a lady. And
we did water.
Yeah. And what I got out of that was so much more.
Isn't it? And it's progressive.
And the love that he has for our fellowship and for the AA as a whole. I never understood that. And I know what time it'll deepen. I am forever grateful, because it gave me peace. It gave me, like I said, I know who I am, and I don't need those things on the outside anymore. Like I know that I'm okay, because life happens, and one of these days he's not gonna be here, or vice versa. And how am I gonna function without him? And I'm getting there now. And if you had asked me this 6 years ago, come and speak, The first time I spoke,
Pendejo, no.
the first time I spoke, I wrote out my story on 4 pages. And I was like, because I'm going to read this. And like, and then someone says, it's your story. What do you have to remember?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay. But I still took that as comfort.
Right.
But I never thought in a million years I would get out of recovery what I did today. And now that I've been around for just a short time, I'm thinking, God, what does the future have for me? You know, because I'm so amazed.
Amen.
And
it's-
it's just going to be so much more amazing. And I know that I never have to drink, and I know there's always help, and I know outside help's okay. And if there's somebody that doesn't agree with that, well, then you go talk to your sponsor
That's
and you
right.
let them work it out, because that's not my problem.
Right.
Because I'm going to stay sober with outside help, and I'm okay with that.
Atta girl.
And I'm happy. And
Atta girl. You're
half
strong.
half of the people in our wedding and our guests are recovery. The
Serving
people that are
alcohol.
4 of them are coming from out of state.
That's awesome.
people that are
That was a joke. By the
that
way.
are officiating it. He's in the program. People that are going to do our prayers, in the program. And when I first came in the rooms, I said, "You have your friends, and I have my friends, and we're gonna be that way, And like, don't try to get me to do your things, and I won't try to get you to do my things." And God did for me what I couldn't do for myself, and those friends, they walked out of my life,
Mm-hmm.
and now all of his friends are our friends, and
Right.
it's my friends, and
Right.
so,
Yeah.
and it's recovery,
More friends than mine now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all inside the rooms. I mean, it's all inside the rooms. I mean, we have such a camaraderie between this group of guys all that hang out on Monday nights. We'll go to dinner together. We'll do stuff together. But because quite honestly, I never had true friendship until I got in the rooms of AA.
Mhm.
Right? I didn't.
Mhm.
I mean, I had some pretty tight dudes that we ran with.
Yeah.
But I would never bury a dead body for any of those fuckers. I can promise you that.
Right.
I'll do anything in the world for that man sitting over there.
Yeah.
In fact, it gives me chills just thinking anything. And all those men inside that, anything.
Our Monday night group is tight.
Right.
It's
That
real
Monday night
tight.
group is stupid tight. And it's not, and it's just, but I've never had that before. Never in my life have I ever had
one
that.
of my buddies, his son bought a house and getting ready to pour concrete, to do some just walks and some walkways, and the concrete truck cost this much, and after 45 minutes, they start
The
charging.
merge.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
start. So he goes, I need some help. We had more wheelbarrows and guys over there. We had that fucker emptied in 15 minutes or 20 minutes. It was
Right.
gone. That's
Yeah.
It's not about drinking.
And that recovery has been like that to me too. And I don't want to speak too much because it's their story, but like we had a couple in the program, and they lost 2 kids, unfortunately, to the disease, and or the form of the disease, the cousins. But we all came together for them. And there was a time where I needed to be moved out, and he was going to a men's retreat, and I needed to be moved out of my place. And a bunch of people from recovery came and helped us. I was like, what the heck,
Fucking
and he told me
weirdos.
about that. He told me that these people will drop
Right.
everything for you.
Everything.
These people will drop everything for you
Yeah.
and do anything for you, and they'll teach you to love each other from the neck up. Those are 2 things that he proved right. Like
Mhm.
this program is amazing.
Katie says this. She's like, I have never seen my husband tell so many men that he loves them.
Yeah.
Never.
Mm.
Because I do. I
Yeah.
never miss the opportunity to tell
Yeah.
these guys how much I love them.
Yeah.
Because they saved my goddamn life. How
Yeah.
can you not love somebody that saved your life?
Yeah.
Or saves your life day in and day out every day?
Exactly.
How can you not love them?
Yep.
I mean,
And this motherfucker will call you, Dustin, at the drop of a hat. Hey, I need you to be here.
and he's here. And he's here.
Yeah.
And that you can't, and thank God for him, right? Thank God for him. And what did we do the other night when I needed to get a couple more podcasts down because of stuff that's going on. Hey, John, you want to come? Boom. John was right here. Same thing the night before. Doug, you want to record tomorrow? Boom. Doug's right here. It's just, we're all here for each other. Right. And but it wouldn't not even the podcast. We got to help move. We got to do this. We got to do this. My motorhome, I'll never forget this. First time I got to meet Michael closer than just outside the meetings. I knew he worked at a transmission shop in Oakdale. Mike, I had this in my
Hey,
motorhome. I was
Dustin,
getting
we call him Tranny Mike.
Tranny Mike. I had these codes pop up. And he goes, all right, do this. And it worked. And before I got home, he was sitting in my driveway with the part to fix the transmission. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The people like him are.
But it's just,
I can't. I don't even know how many people I've moved out since I got sober. It's like
Right.
Yeah.
And when I was early in sobriety, Bob O moved from by La Loma over off of Oakdale somewhere. And I swear to God, we moved this whole house and everything in like 5 hours. It's like, we're not going back for another load because there was so many people there
Right.
for an old timer.
Right.
Really, you know what I mean?
Bob
Yeah.
O. Oh, I want to clarify one thing
Oh shit.
about sponsorship, because you're right. Because when she asked me, should I tell the other sponsor? Of course, if you have a relationship with a sponsor and you want to move somewhere else, you tell them. The reason I said Jay'd figure it out, 'cause, come on, Jay's old,
Mhm.
and he figured it out. The other thing is, like when Sam came to me, he was working the steps, or he wasn't working in this. The sponsor he had, the guy that came out and said, "I'll be your sponsor," wasn't doing it. He goes, "Rob, I'm like," because he was ready to do his steps. This guy just basically just cut him loose, but didn't tell him. I said, should I go tell so-and-so that? Said, when's the last time he's answered one of your phone calls? Well, it's been a minute. Fuck him.
That's right.
He'll figure it out.
Right.
Let's go. That kind of thing. But with a relationship like that, but other than that, but you are right. We don't hurt others.
No.
You tell them. Because that's one, that's overcoming a fear.
Yeah. No.
One, and that's taking responsibility for your actions, and that's owning your shit.
Yeah.
I'm going this way.
Yeah.
And if they have a problem with it, guess what? They'll pray for you.
Right.
Hopefully.
And that was hard for me because I'm the type, I'll burn a bridge and just like, whatever, I'll build another one eventually.
Build another one.
So I
right.
was never big on those saying goodbyes, doing the right thing, 2-week notice type things, never that type of person. So recovery's taught me how to grow up and be an adult,
Right.
things that, like I said, I managed to do things, like I said, the opposite of what people did that I didn't like, but I was still missing some pieces of those moral compasses, and AA helped me build that, so the people in the rooms.
When did you start seeing your promises? I always love that question. I love it because to me, it's the best part of AA. It's the best part.
The first time I seen the first glimpse of it was with my first sponsor. No, I'm sorry, my second sponsor, when I was doing my amends. And it was to my son.
Oh, wow.
And my son,
Did he let you have it,
oh my God.
if I'm correct?
There's things that I wasn't even amending for that he brought up. And I was told, you just bite your lip and you don't say anything.
Swallow the
You
blood.
You just
I remember
go with it.
I remember you telling me about
And I'm
this.
like, I'm like, I wasn't even apologizing about it because I forgot about that. I didn't remember that. But he let me know everything that and that was one of the worst experiences I've ever had because it made me feel like the shittiest parent in the world. But he said that was one of the best days he ever had. 'Cause for
Amen.
the first time, he could actually talk to me and he
Amen.
trusted that it was going to be okay and that I wasn't going to do
How
anything.
far sober were you?
At that point, I think I was, because I relapsed and I came back in. So I think
gonna
I
ask
was
that.
2 years, I think, or a year and a half, maybe
Past your
between 1 and
past
2
your
years.
relapse.
Yeah.
Past your relapse.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
since then, that relationship has never been better. It has never been better. So that was my first.
Gave me chills.
Yeah, and it was my relationship, and I always thought it was a good relationship, but no, we have
Right.
like
Real. It's real.
Like we are,
Yeah.
we are like. two
But just
peas
like
in a
you
pod.
said about Dustin, it's transparent. It's wide
Yeah.
open, right?
Yeah.
It's wide open. Say, and it's same with my daughters now. I mean, my daughters were never broken really bad. I mean, with my oldest it was, but never broken really bad. But there's so much transparency now with
Well, and having them on the podcast, which was
right,
towards the end of our first year,
right.
was powerful.
It's just amazing to be able to have that, right?
Yeah.
So okay, you guys are getting married in February.
Yeah.
I'm. You know what? That to me is the answer to everything that you could, from your start of your stories to this right here. It's it's where you belong.
Like a new power couple.
It's where you belong. I mean, you went through it, and you got. You know what, Dustin? God bless you, man. I'm telling you, for you to invest in her by getting to know her illness, God bless you, man. That is by far.
Love is action, baby.
That is just incredible. And I there's so much respect for that. I mean, you know what? You didn't discount her. You didn't do anything. You said, you know what? Let me figure this out.
Mhm.
Right.
God bless you. God bless you.
I have
man.
a coworker that her youngest son has autism, and I got a coworker, and I was telling the coworker, I've worked with this guy for 5 years now, and he's like, oh, my son has autism, and he's like, man, God bless you that you took on that responsibility.
Really?
That's another thing.
And I was like, wow, I didn't even think of that.
Right.
It's just because I love
He's
it.
not a runner, and
No.
I'm a runner.
Not anymore. You're not.
No, not anymore.
I don't know if you know, but when I that's where I was saying I was the knight of shining armor, but I wasn't an upstanding AA member. One of the times I called her a foul word, a 4-letter
Mhm.
word, and her son heard it. And her son just didn't want nothing to do with me after that.
Yeah.
And I've had to rebuild,
Mm.
practice be the man that
Principles, right.
Alcoholics Anonymous has
Right.
taught me to be, and not be. It's so for him to open up the way. So I asked Gail, and then I asked Jimmy, and we're walking through the mall, and he's telling me everything. I was like, holy shit.
And-
Wrong place to
yeah.
ask, I guess.
And now that boy, my son, he goes to see us get our chips. I mean, he's there. He's with us on the weekend. He's hanging out with us, and he wouldn't even let him like be even in his existence. you
Well,
know?
does he drink at all?
never
no.
never drink in his life.
We
And I'm
took him
thankful.
to his. We took him to. She took him. I wasn't just along
To
to
Vegas.
Vegas on his 21st birthday.
And none
I
of us
told him,
drank.
Go, like go,
Right, right.
and he didn't want to go drink.
No,
he's
he's
not-
not a drinker, not a smoker,
He saw
nothing.
it. He saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's seen it through everybody, through his mom, his dad, his stepdad,
Yeah, he
his
saw it.
everybody. Yeah,
He saw it.
didn't
He
want
knows
nothing
his
of it.
genes in there too.
Yeah.
Genes there. He doesn't want any part of it.
The one thing I wanted to say real quick is what she did was she seen her family going that way, and she did the exact opposite.
Mm,
So there was always been like a moral compass. I knew she was a good woman. That's what I've hung on for.
right.
I did the exact opposite, or I did the same thing that my dad was doing. Like what she seen, she wasn't going to teach her children. I did that.
Right.
So coming back from that, and she's been my line of moral compass in those. I'm telling you, if her sponsor would sponsor men, I would ask her sponsor to sponsor me.
Tell me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want to meet her.
Good woman.
Yeah,
Oh,
very
I
good.
want to meet her.
Okay,
So
shout
now
out
I
to
love
Jose.
strong
because I
women
knew you
like
were
that.
struggling because she had asked me to. She was when she was getting ready. She was. I was going to ask Tiambe. I said,
Well,
Go
there was
do
a moment, for a quick moment, I was going to ask Rob because
Good
I knew
Lord,
I
you'd be
had a
fucked.
partner. I had a partner that loved me, and he wanted my sobriety over anything. He already is dealing with me working on these men. So for a quick second, I thought about Rob, but I thought God told me to let me somewhere else, and it was to Tiambe.
You need
but for
somebody
a quick
taller.
second,
Somebody a little
That's
taller.
Tiambe's
Yeah.
not taller than.
You need somebody to see eye to eye with. You don't want to look down on your sponsor.
From that girl she couldn't let my knee go at a 7 a.m. Northside meeting.
I
last
don't
weekend-
blame her. Those things are scary.
Last weekend we hosted a Christmas party for Living Sober,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and this woman that was walking around, got fellowshipping with people,
Oh, yeah.
just talking to the kids. There's kids
Awesome.
there, you know.
Awesome.
I was just sitting back going, man,
Awesome.
who is this person? And now I get to marry.
That's
this
the promises,
person.
baby.
You know what I mean?
That's it
Yeah.
right there. Just all that. Look at what I got.
And that's got nothing to do with alcohol.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Steps in God. Can you
Yeah.
imagine that? Wouldn't hurt my grandmother. Everybody should take these things.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that we went on here 4 hours now.
Oh wow!
I get yeah.
We could go. I'm just saying, I knew it was gonna be long, right? I mean, when you got two people
It's good.
with two amazing stories, I mean, I knew it was gonna be this long. So
Hey, and I got
my ADHD.
There you go.
I
got
know.
to put this one together.
Well, hold on.
Easy
Wait
there.
back the fuck up.
Hold up.
Tell the whole fucking story, prick.
I did this.
God
What?
did this, but go ahead.
Hey, I was
Do
there
I need to
one
go
time.
back and read the fucking text?
No.
Hey, Rob, ask Priscilla if her and her husband wants to come in because I thought you were married. Rob, ask Priscilla and her husband if they want to come in. Okay.
Well, I don't think that's how it went, but I
Motherfucker,
Neither-
I can put it on the camera. You
Hey.
want me to put it on the
Hey.
camera?
Rob's the type that he'd rather give resentments than have resentments.
That's right.
right?
because you know what? He'll pray for me. Because he'll call his sponsor, his new sponsor, who I know is my sponsor, and he'll say, "Go to page 552, Larry, and pray for him." Dustin, I used to piss people off at meetings who I knew had good sponsorship, like when I was struggling with something early in sobriety. Because they'd go to, everybody knows page 550. If you have a resentment, you pray for them, pray for 2 weeks. I pissed the right people off because I'd get all these prayers. Yeah, but in my mind, that's what I thought.
That's funny.
Wow.
Right here.
Isn't
We
that
need a
acceptance
guest
of the
for
answer?
Sunday. Okay. Would Priscilla come? I'll see.
But then When I
Right
said-
here.
I said we'll have Dustin.
How's the
story-
Copenhagen going, buddy? Good. Just have to check currently from chewing on that, right? In a meeting. That's him's in a
Okay,
meeting.
wait.
Text.
It was his idea.
We need a guest for Sunday. Okay. All he writes was Sunday. Would Priscilla come? I'll see.
There you go. And look what I provided.
So who put this thing all together? None of us
God.
have been sitting here.
God,
God, baby. Attaboy, Dustin.
Is that
See?
all?
Who
Brought
deserves
it all
the
back
credit?
together again.
First.
is that odd or is that God?
That's God. Let's
that
get that out here.
competition's still going on.
Thank you, guys.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank
Recovery
you.
Podcast at gmail.com.
Recovery Unfiltered. Yeah, if you want to reach out to Priscilla or Dustin, want to talk to either one of them, reach out to us. Recovery Unfiltered Podcast at gmail.com. And here's my lovely wife.
Thank you for listening to the Recovery Unfiltered podcast.
All right.
We appreciate you being here today. If you'd like to reach out to us, please email us at recoveryunfilteredpodcast.com. We will do our best to answer all of your emails.